powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, delegates from corporate and academia, press and media. Myself, Dr. Maina, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science and Engineering.
And myself, Nazia Fareen HS, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering.
Feel privileged to be the masters of ceremony for today's inaugural function of IEEE MysuruCon 2021, the first edition of the flagship international conference series of IEEE Mysuru subsection, hosted by the House of Shri M.S. Ramaya's Hopkins College of Engineering, Hassan, and technically co-sponsored by IEEE Bengaluru section.
Hassan is located in southwestern part of Karnataka in India. It is known for its enchanting natural scenic beauty and is called as Poor Man's Ooty. World famous tourist places Bengaluru, Halebeedu and Shravanabelagula are within 30 kilometers from Hassan. Hopkins College of Engineering Hassan is the newest initiative from the house of Sri M.S. Ramaya, a pioneer in private education in Karnataka, who established the renowned Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru in 1962. Hopkins College of Engineering Hassan, established in 2020, is a state-of-the-art technical institution that provides young professionals with an ideal atmosphere to learn and grow into world-class engineers. The college is located in a peaceful, picturesque landscape, providing a good academic ambience supported by premium infrastructure and facilities necessary for imparting quality engineering education. The college is affiliated to Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belgavi.
Seeking the blessings of Sri M.S. Ramaya, a great visionary, renowned industrialist, philanthropist and educationalist, we shall begin today's function by invoking the Almighty to shower His blessings on each one of us. It is a mark of our underlying tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event. I would like to call upon Ms. Anagha P. to render the invocation song.
Mamavatu Shri Saraswati Mamavatu Shri Saraswati Kamakoti Peetha Nivasini Mamavatu Shri Saraswati Komalakara Saroja Dhritaveena Komalakara Saroja Dhritaveena Simati Tavaravagvi Bhushana Mamavatu Shri Saraswati Rajadhiraja Pujita Charana Rajivanayana Ramani Yavadana Sujana Manoratha Purana Chatura Nijagala Shobhita Manimaya Ajabhava Vandita Vasudeva Charanarpita Saka Vedasara Mamavatu Shri Saraswati
Thank you, Anaga, for that blissful rendition. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Bindu A. Thomas, General Chair of MysuruCon 2021, an epitome of determination and self-confidence. Dr. Bindu A. Thomas is the chair of Mysuru subsection and is the professor and head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Vidya Vikas Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mysore. She is also the member of Academic Council Committee of University of Mysore, nominated by Government of Karnataka. Dr. Bindu has published over 85 peer-reviewed research publications. Dr. Bindu is a senior IEEE member. She has won the IEEE Bangalore Section Best Branch Counselor for IEEE Small Student Branch Award. She is the Vice Chair, IEEE Education Society, IEEE Bangalore Chapter, Exicom Member, Women in Engineering AG, IEEE Bangalore Section. Dr. Bindu has received several awards and recognitions, including Best Paper Awards and Champion at a Project Competition at IAC Bangalore. She has won the IEEE Women in Engineering Achievers Award in 2020. Welcoming is an art and it sprouts from the heart. To express it at this juncture, may I take the pleasure of inviting Dr. Bindu A. Thomas to deliver welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Maina. Every auspicious moment in our life is a blessing from the Almighty. And today being one of the auspicious moments, and we're blessed to have this being graced by the Almighty on us, I deem it my pleasure and privilege to welcome the distinguished dignitaries on the dais, the invitees, and the guests, the delegates online and offline to this esteemed conference organized by this great institution, Navkis Engineering College. I extend a hearty welcome to Honorable Vice Chancellor of VTU, Dr. Kari Siddappa, our special guest for today's inaugural ceremony of the IEEE MysuruCon 2021, the flagship and the maiden conference of the IEEE subsection, Mysuru subsection. We welcome you, sir. We are honored that you've taken out time to make it here for this conference and the inaugural ceremony. Thank you very much, sir. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Aloknath Dey, Senior Vice President and CTO, Samsung R&D Institute, India, Bengaluru, who's the chief guest for the conference. Thank you very much, sir, for having taken out time. And he's traveled down from Bengaluru to Mysore. Warm welcome to you, sir. I would like to welcome the guest of honor for today's event, Dr. Ashutosh Dutta, the IEEE Fellow, Chair ECE, John Hopkins University, Maryland, USA, who is with us online. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing this occasion. I welcome Mr. Pradeep P., Commissioner, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Karnataka, the guest of honor for today's event. He's also with us online. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. I'm a proud teacher of Mr. Pradeep. He is an alumni of Vidya Vikas Institute of Engineering and Technology. I extend a warm welcome to Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra, Honorary Chair of MysuruCon, ISRO Bengaluru. He's also the past chair of IEEE Bengaluru section, who's the guest of honor for today's event. He's our mentor for the IEEE Mysuru subsection. He's been our guide, mentor, and all the encouragement for this conference too. Welcome you, sir. I extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Rocio, the professor at the University of Jaén, Spain, the guest of honor for today's event. We welcome you, Professor. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. I extend a warm welcome to Mr. B.S. Bindu Madhava, sir, Chair IEEE Bengaluru section, who's a scientist and the director of CDAC Bengaluru for today's event. Sir was supposed to be here. Thank you for being with us online, sir. He has a very important event there. I welcome Sri Anandraman, MR, Chairman, Navkis Engineering College, and who's been the pillar of support, the visionary of this great institute, who has supported us in conducting this event in such a graceful manner. Welcome you, sir. I have the privilege to welcome Mr. Venkatesh Murthy, the Technical Director of Navkis Engineering College, Hassan, for the inaugural ceremony. Thank you for the support, sir. I extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Parmeshachari BD, the General Chair of MysuruCon, Chair-elect of IEEE Mysuru Subsection, Professor and Head of Telecom Department at GSSIT, Mysuru, for today's inaugural ceremony. He's been the support and he's been the, I should say, the entire work's being done by him. Thank you very much, Professor. I extend a hearty welcome to all the EXICOM members of IEEE Mysuru Subsection, the EXICOM members of IEEE Bengaluru section who have graced this occasion, who is very much with us here. I extend a hearty welcome to the eminent gold sponsors, Upswing and Prakash Sponge Iron and Power Private Limited, the silver sponsors, Vishweshwara Technological University, Diksha Analytical Private Limited, Mahindra and Aditya Systems and Services, and all the media partners for today's inaugural ceremony. I welcome our principal of Naukes Engineering College, Dr. Mohana sir, who's also my teacher. A hearty welcome to you, sir. He's the organizing chair of this great conference. Thank you for taking out time and reaching out to us to host this wonderful conference here at Naukes. I also welcome all the session chairs, the students and the faculty volunteers, the IEEE members across the country, teaching and non-teaching staff of Naukes College for all the support. Least but not the last, I welcome the delegates for today's program, who is the backbone of today's conference. We have received over 550 papers, of which the 150 papers have been selected and will be presented in tomorrow's 15 parallel sessions that's going to happen online. Lastly, I welcome everybody to this Maiden International Conference organized by the Naukes Engineering College, conducted by the IEEE Mysuru subsection. Thank you very much.
I sincerely welcome all the principals of various colleges who have made to this occasion. I request the volunteers to hand over the bouquets to the principals. Thank you, Dr. Bindu, for your earnest address. On this occasion, I would like to welcome Dr. Bindu to this event. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. A ray of light is a ray of hope. Let's all leave the darkness and step towards the bright path. Now we shall have a traditional auspicious lamp lighting ceremony as a tribute to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp and symbolically inaugurate this program. I request the entire gathering to raise for the same. Illindana.
Thank you all. I request all the dignitaries to occupy respective seats. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. It was indeed this mantra of working together that has brought us where we are today. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Parmeshachari BD, General Chair, MysuruCon, who is the backbone in organizing this conference. Dr. Parmeshachari BD is currently working as Professor and Head in the Department of Telecommunication Engineering at GSSS Institute of Engineering and Technology for Women, Mysuru, affiliated to VTU Belgavi. He has a total of 18 plus years of teaching and research experience, and he has worked at various positions and places like Karnataka, Kerala, and Mauritius. He is recognized as Research Guide at VTU, Belgavi, and currently 5 research scholars are pursuing PhD degree under his supervision. He is instrumental in establishing collaboration between GSSS IETW and Multimedia University, Malaysia, and also with University of Sanio, Italy. He is the recipient of IEEE Bangalore Section Outstanding Volunteer Award 2020 in recognition of the outstanding contribution to the Bangalore section in the year 2020. He has published over 85 plus articles in SCI, Scopus, and other indexed journals, and also in the conferences. It's our privilege to have you with us, sir. Now I request Dr. Parmeshachari BD to speak a few words about the journey of IEEE MysuruCon 2021.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, one and all. Respected distinguished guests on the dais, off the dais, guests joined online, EXICOM members of IEEE Mysore subsection and IEEE Bangalore section, invitees, press and media representatives, participants of international conference, and my dear colleagues, I feel proud and privileged to share the journey of this conference. It is indeed a special privilege for IEEE Mysore subsection to host first edition of flagship international conference series of IEEE Mysore subsection, IEEE MysuruCon 2021 at Naukis College of Engineering, Asan, in association with IEEE Bangalore section. MysuruCon is the result of initiation, motivation, the guidance of Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra, past chair IEEE Bangalore section. I am very thankful to his continuous support, advices, which has greatly helped to organize IEEE MysuruCon. I am sure that the series of MysuruCon conferences will be helpful for many of the aspiring academicians. The journey of MysuruCon started about an year back with the commitment and enthusiasm. MysuruCon has been designed with lot of passion and hard work to be truly innovative, creative, to match the fast-changing technical world. The MysuruCon has attracted more than 550 participants across the world, which includes PG students, research scholars, academicians, and industry persons. The aim of the conference was to offer a platform for researchers and engineers from different backgrounds to present and discuss their latest research ideas, results, and potential applications. MysuruCon is technically co-sponsored by IEEE Bangalore section, and it is proved to be very popular and received submissions from all over the world. To name a few, USA, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh, UK, Spain, South Africa, France, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and also from premier institutions like IITs, NITs, ISRO, DRDO, NAL in India. MysuruCon has attracted 550 scholarly submissions. The conference program committee had a very challenging task of choosing high-quality submissions. After the standard IEEE review process, through rigorous double-blind review and recommendations of the reviewers, 148 highly quality scholarly submissions were selected for inclusion in the conference proceedings. The final submissions are categorized into different tracks. Totally, there will be 14 parallel online sessions. In each track, best presentation will be awarded with a cash prize and certificate. Participation certificate will be issued to all the participants after the conference. For all the 14 sessions, we have invited domain experts from reputed universities and IT industries to assist the presentation and give fruitful suggestions to the participants. We have invited distinguished speakers from The theme areas of the conference across the world, to name a few, IITians and reputed companies from India, USA, Japan, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Australia, and Brazil. This gives presenters an opportunity to interact with the expert and to address some of the challenging problems. The aim is to encourage discussion around emerging work that can improve its sophistication and potential for future impact. Conference is gathering of people who alone can do nothing, but together can decide that nothing can be undone. Finally, we hope that you will find the conference to be a valuable resource in your professional, research, and educational activities, whether you are a student, academician, or a researcher. We express our sincere thanks to the keynote speakers, authors, session chairs, technical program committee members, and reviewers who are responsible for the success of this conference. I am grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belagavi, Dr. Karisiddappa sir, for providing financial support of organizing this conference and also helped us in publicity of MysuruCon through VTU website. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to express my deepfelt gratitude to Shri M.R. Anandram, Chairman, Nokis College of Engineering, Asan, Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy, Director, Technical, Dr. Mohan sir, Principal, Nokis College of Engineering, Asan, for providing us with all possible logistic support towards organizing this conference. My sincere thanks to Mr. Bindu Madhava, Chair IEEE Bangalore section, for helping us in getting approval towards the conduction of this conference and extending a support in all aspects. In the occasion, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Bindu Thomas, Chair IEEE Mysore subsection, to make this event a grand success. My speech would be incomplete without thanking our principal, Dr. M. Shukumar, and management of GSS Institute of Engineering and Technology for Women, Mysuru, who have always encouraged me to work towards IEEE Forum. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank sponsorship committee team led by Dr. Maina, Head Department of CSE, Nokis College of Engineering, Asan. Special thanks to Mr. Deepak H.A. and Mr. Deepak R., Nokis College of Engineering, for their continuous interaction from the day one of this MysuruCon. I would like to thank Mr. Kishore Kumar Sharma, Execom member of IEEE Bengaluru section, for giving wide publicity of MysuruCon. My thanks goes to my colleagues, Mr. Keerthi Kumar, Mrs. Nagashri, Mr. Rajesh KM, Mr. Jai Ganesh from GSSIW Mysuru, who have supported us for organizing this conference. I express my sincere gratitude to the Execom members of IEEE Mysore subsection and IEEE Bangalore section and staff members of Nokis College of Engineering who has lent their shoulders for organizing this conference. I also extend my gratitude to the members of various committees of the conference who have supported us organizing for this conference. We look forward to see that MysuruCon to be successful and enjoyable. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for providing a glimpse of IEEE MysuruCon 2021. Education in today's world is not just teaching and learning within the four walls of a classroom. It is about creating awareness, and awareness is not only for students, it is also for the teachers and public too. Our college has realized the need to create awareness about itself among the students, and we are doing our best to meet the requirement. As a new step in this direction, we have come up with organizing IEEE International Conference in our institution. May I request distinguished dignitaries on the dais to release the proceedings of today's conference to the gathering. Oh. Thank you all. It is now time to view the messages and wishes of some of the highly influential personalities who could not make to the function today due to their busy schedule. They have wished us for the success of the conference and appreciated the efforts of Naukis College of Engineering Hassan in hosting the same. One among them is Dr. Ashwath Narayan CN, Minister for Higher Education, IT and BT, Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka.
Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Land and it's my pleasure and honor to serve as the 2021 President and CEO of IEEE. While I am unable to participate virtually in the inaugural MysuruCon 2021, I want to send a welcome to all the participants and my warmest regards to all the IEEE members across India and Region 10. I am honored to be your colleague. I would like to begin by thanking Puneet Kumar Mishra, a longtime volunteer for the India Council in Region 10, for the invitation and opportunity to speak to you, and I applaud all of the organizers' efforts in putting together this flagship conference. You have created a wonderful opportunity for the members to network, learn, and engage with one another. For those of you who are already IEEE members, thank you. I'm honored to be your colleague. For those of you who are not, I hope this fest can provide you with some insight into what IEEE does, what it can do for you, and what we can accomplish together. For those who are unfamiliar with IEEE, we are the world's largest technical professional society. Our members are vibrant, diverse engineering and technology professionals working across academia, industry, and government who are committed to elevating their professional image, expanding their global network, connecting with peers locally, and giving back to their community. IEEE brings together not only engineers, but also technologists from the fields of computer sciences and information technology, physical science, biological and medical science, mathematics, technical communications, education, management, law, and policy. One of the great choices that I am so glad that I made was to become involved with IEEE. It helped me define who I am both personally and technically, and this is what I want to share with every individual working in technology. As I became involved and saw how collaborative and how effective each person could be, how you can empower other volunteers and together collectively make positive changes to our profession, I was hooked. The members and volunteers of the IEEE Mysore subsection have made great strides in building a strong IEEE community that connects the foremost universities and industries across the area. It was my pleasure to participate virtually in the subsection's inauguration celebration in December of 2020. Since then, the subsection has grown immensely with 26 engineering colleges, 14 IEEE student branches, and more than 1,000 members. I admire the energy of your membership, the passion you bring to your work, and the dedication you have demonstrated in advancing technology for the benefit of the people of India, Region 10, and the world. The members of your subsection have always been valued, active participants in the IEEE Bengaluru section, one of the most vibrant and dynamic sections around the globe, and a center for India's high-tech industry. Its nearly 9,000 members and volunteers have worked tirelessly to develop and promote IEEE. I must say, I am very impressed with the significant number of student members and student branches throughout the section and subsection. Our students and young professionals are truly an integral part of IEEE's core strength. Your enthusiasm and sense of camaraderie help bolster our efforts to build strong partnerships and cooperation with industry and others worldwide. I believe our students and young professionals are the key drivers of tomorrow's innovations and are integral to advancing technology for humanity. You will shape our future quality of life just as your predecessors have done. We need to continue to support our students and young professionals, encourage them, and empower them to be creative and pioneering. This is essential in developing the next generation workforce and empowering both young men and women to strive for successful, rewarding careers in engineering and technology. This is the hallmark of an IEEE member who is committed to making a difference both locally and globally. This work is integral to our organization's ongoing evolution and expansion. It is a large and complex organization supporting the technical and professional needs of our members, our professions, and the public. IEEE recognizes both the acceleration of technological innovation and the challenges this brings. After all, IEEE's membership drives much of today's exponential rate of technological growth. As our members drive ever faster technological change, each of us must play a role in guaranteeing that our professional society remains relevant, that it is as innovative and agile as our members are, and that it continues to evolve to meet the challenges of the increasingly dynamic world around us. We live in a diverse world full of complex problems that will require an environment of collaboration with active and open engagement, the environment that only IEEE can provide. Please know that you have my admiration and support as you work to build a culture that is diverse and inclusive, one where every individual's passion and commitment is represented, where they feel engaged and empowered, and where we can all work together to support IEEE's mission to advance technology for humanity. As a person who believes in the power of technology to benefit humanity, I find this to be a very compelling vision for our shared future. Before I wrap up today, I want to once again thank you for your dedication and perseverance this year. IEEE is an international community that is truly unlike any other. The challenges and changes we have witnessed in local communities across nations and around the world confirm that the work of professional engineers, technologists, educators, young professionals, and students preparing for technical careers will continue to be in high demand and have a great impact. Great things lie in store for the technologists of the Mysore subsection and across Bengaluru. I look forward to the years of dynamic growth and achievements. I offer my sincere congratulations on organizing and launching MysuruCon, the flagship annual international conference of the IEEE Mysore subsection. My best wishes for a successful and dynamic conference. Thank you.
That was Susan Cathyland, IEEE President from USA. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wishes. The greatest education in the world is watching the masters at work. Today, we are fortunate to have amongst us a dynamic educationalist, motivational speaker, and winner of many awards. It is a matter of pride to have our special guest of today's inauguration function, Dr. Karisiddappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belagavi, Karnataka. Dr. Karisiddappa obtained his BE degree in civil engineering in the year 1981 from University of Mysore, securing 7th rank. MTech in structural engineering in 1986 from IIT Madras and PhD in 1994 from University of Roorkee, presently IIT Roorkee. Presently, Dr. Karisiddappa is serving as the Vice Chancellor of Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belagavi, for the second term since 2016. He has a rich research experience of about 34 years in the field of structural engineering. Dr. Karisiddappa has been member to governing councils of several organizations, including Karnataka Examination Authority and Karnataka State Higher Education Council. Achievements as Vice Chancellor of VTU from 2016 till date are umpteen in number. Starting from the introduction of in-house digital evaluation system at VTU, many of his other initiatives include establishment of Centers of Excellence for Water Technology and Data Science Technique at Belagavi and Geospatial Technology at Belagavi in association with Indian Space Research Organization and Karnataka State Higher Education Department. Dr. Karisiddappa is the recipient of many prestigious awards. To name a few, ISTE National Award for Best Administrator for the year 2017 in honor of successful administration in the area of technical education. Innovative Educator Award 2019 by Mind Matrix for his vision to create an exciting and supporting learning environment that transforms the engineering students to face new challenges to the society. Professor T.R.C. Sinha Lifetime Achievement Award 2019, Lifetime Achievement Award 2021-22, Eminent Engineer Award 2021 by Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, Bengaluru Center. We are honored by your gracious presence, sir. Now I request our special guest, Dr. Karisiddappa, to deliver inaugural address to the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. Honorable Chairman of this institution, Hopkins College of Engineering, Asan, Sri Anandaram MR, the President of today's program and the Director Technical, former Principal of Malnad College of Engineering, and my own teacher, Professor M.G. Venkatesh Murthy, the other dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Aloknath Day, from Vice President from Samsung Electronics and CTO Samsung R&D Institute, India, Bengaluru, Dr. Ashutosh Dutta, IEEE Fellow, John Hopkins University, USA, online, Sri Pradeep P, IAS, Commissioner and Department of Collegiate Education and Technical Education, and very tech-savvy officer from Government of Karnataka, online, Dr. Rocio, University of Spain, online, Mr. Punit Kumar Mishra, the Honorary Chair, MysuruCon, ISRO scientist from Bengaluru, Sri B.S. Bindu Madhava, IEEE Chair, Bangalore section, the other various dignitaries on and online and offline, then MysuruCon, I think Chairman and Chairperson of IEEE, Dr. Bindu A. Thomas, and Professor from VVIT, Mysuru, Sri of course, Professor Mohan, the principal of this institution, Professor Char from GSSIT and key man in organizing this program here in Asan, the HODs and faculty members of this institute, invitees and principals from various colleges, and my own former colleagues from various engineering colleges from Asan, the representatives of the management of Hopkins College of Engineering, participants, invitees, ladies and gentlemen, some of my young student friends present here, present media. I am very happy and delighted to be part of this inaugural program. I say big thanks to the organizers and also as well as the management of this institution for making it possible to have an international conference under the aegis of IEEE in Asan. IEEE is the biggest organization in the whole globe, I think, which has got more than 4 lakh membership and professionals in the body, and more than 1 lakh students from various schools and colleges as their life members. Now, when we talk about a conference like this, we need to review our role as the teachers, administrators, or who are really involved in the education system. What is that we are looking at in 21st century? And what was earlier we were all doing about? And what are the challenges? The aspirations of the society have completely changed, and more so in last 1.5 years. And we need to look very carefully about the changes happening in terms of technology. We talk about the modern technology or the emerging technologies, consequently emerging programs and study, and even the revolutions happening in the education system in terms of learning and teaching. Now, we all talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, blockchain technology, intelligent structures, green energy, various emerging technologies we are talking about, or we are trying to bring a cultural change in the learning environment, not only to learn the technology but also to use the technology to make our young generation passionate about learning what are required from the point of view of the knowledge, skill set, competency level, etc. Now, being a people who are there involved in the teaching and is involved in education system, we need to ponder over some of the points which are very critical, very important, and also the recent pandemic has really taught us many new things, and it has really made us to think out of the box. Now, when we talk about technologies and learning them, is it the end there itself? No, it is only a beginning. Now, what is that we need to do in a conference like this, when you have more than 150 papers presented over next 2 days, and in various areas, I saw quickly in artificial neural network, AI, ML, there is something related to Bitcoin technology, something used, blockchain technology, some of the health monitoring equipments, many newer things have been talked about. And definitely all these things, when they become useful to the society, then only we'll have a measure of research or the measure of conference outcome. See, when you want to measure a conference, the success of the conference, it is not in terms of the number of papers presented. It is in terms of quality of papers presented, in terms of quality of people involved in the conference, in terms of what kind of deliberations happen over 1 or 2 days with that kind of a precise time, and spending so much of time and using technology. We have participants from abroad, and we have participants in-house, etc. When we all work together, so building a society or helping a society, creating an environment which is very conducive to live or conducive to learn or progress further for any country, it is the teamwork. It is the people associated with a conference like this. Unless we deliberate, unless we adopt ourselves a collaborative learning. See, it is not one-dimensional education we are talking about. We are talking about multi-dimensional, 360-dimensional education, in the sense that it is not enough to know a small domain and become an expert. No, we need to know what is happening in the other domain. We should have a bird's eye view of other technologies which are useful, and how those technologies can be adopted in one field of engineering. Now, when you talk about engineering, it is not simply a specialization you get out of a college. You need to know many more things which are happening outside your branch of selection or outside the engineering what you have selected. So, it is how a teamwork or a collaborative learning through conferences like this will go a long way in making your life not only comfortable, making yourself a very useful contributor to the globe or the society. Contribution is not in terms of earning thousands and crores of dollars into the society. No, it is the use of technology, reducing the problem faced by the society through your own innovations. So now we are in the era of 21st century. We talk about innovations, we talk about startups, we talk about many things in education system. We are collaborating. We have started working more closely with industries and educational institutions, especially in engineering. Karnataka, we have made a big change, not only in terms of curriculum, the way in which the education we are looking at. We have changed as per the aspirations of new National Education Policy 2020. So that's how we need to work and learn from the activities like this. So therefore, the conference of this nature should yield in terms of outcomes which lessen the burden or lessen the problem faced by the globe or the society. So when we talk about a outcome of this, if a collaborative research or a paper, discussed here, if it can yield in the research or it can take up the research to the next level, if it can ignite some of the young participants in this conference to take up a problem which is little above that, to solve some more additional, come out with some more additional solution, that is the best outcome in my view. Now, when you talk about technology, they must yield some results. If I can save a drop of water or 1 watt of energy or 1 gram of natural resources available, that is a great contribution. So these kind of small things happening and these kinds of small interactions happening, if they are able to yield such a outcome, and I think we are successful, and we can say that conference, yes, it has yielded something. It has given us a new dimension. If we can ignite some of the young students who are there with you, who sit with you for next to 16 hours with you, if we can ignite them to think and take up a challenging problem and solve it and come out with a solution which is useful to the society, I think that is the outcome of this conference. So definitely, conference like this in a professional institution, and that too in a place like ASAN, they go a long way, and I think they will go not only a long way, they go a big way in impacting the students who are committed to do something in professional education system. So therefore, I wish this conference to be very, very successful and orient towards collaborative learning, orient towards collaborative research, and orient towards making a man complete. That's what we talk about in the National Education Policy, multidisciplinary, 360 graduates, 21st century graduates. And also, it should be an eye-opener for some of the passionate programs we are bringing out in the education system. I may take 1 or 2 minutes additional. See, we talk about new age, not only new age technologies, we talk about new age programs in universities and colleges. We talk about data science, we talk about earth science, we talk about environmental science, we talk about technology in making our infrastructure more intelligent and smart. We talk about newer real estate has become a technology. Medical service management, it is a separate program by itself. Sports management, the people completing after engineering, many of our graduates in VTU, they go abroad and do the sports management MBA program. A very wonderful combination of science and technology integration. So we were talking about STEM. Now we started talking about STEAM now: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. A stands for arts now. STEAM, we talk about STEAM now. So that is the kind of newer programs. If you look at some of the advertisement in many of our TVs, Naya Zamana programs, something they call, So we need to build that kind of education system, which is appropriate. So VTU is doing only five activities in the name of NEP, or as per the aspirations of. One is we are trying to have a very relevant curriculum, a very comprehensive teaching learning process, or we are bringing in a new system of pedagogy, technology enabled pedagogy, blended mode of teaching and learning, very comprehensive, very transparent assessment procedures, formative assessments, weightage for our CIE, internal marks and external semester end examination we are changing. So we are bringing new set of rubrics for formative assessments in our engineering system. The fourth one is about the providing adequate supportive facility to the students. It is not that infrastructure or classrooms or AC rooms or auditoriums, a very comprehensive campus. In the sense, when the student enter the campus early in the morning and when they leave, they must go with some gained outcomes. The stay in the campus must be more meaningful. They must have earned some outcomes or gained some new thinking process in their mind. They come with smile and go with smile. And the other activity which we are trying to do is teachers training program. So we want teachers who are going to be mentors, teachers who are going to be a coach, a facilitator, not simply chalk and talk. That will never not. It could be a part of your teaching and learning, but it is not the only mechanism. The knowledge and gaining information was only through teacher and textbooks, but now the whole university is there in your pocket. 24/7 you have access to the information. 24/7 you have access to the knowledge resources available from different people, and expert so you may have an expert in AI for the entire globe. So you have his or her lectures available to you. With those kind of resources available, why the teacher should come to my campus? Why your student should come and sit in your classroom when so much is available? So that is the biggest challenge you have. So to address that, we are going in a big way to have teachers program. With those kind of 4 or 5 pillars in the education system, I think colleges should redefine themselves and face the challenges of 21st century. And with all this, we are working on newer courses, biology for engineers, health and well-being, and I think IEEE should take a step forward to have a combined conference of this kind with engineers and doctors. So it is an appropriate time wherein engineers and doctors work together to solve the societal problems. So that is data science with the technology has helped us to come out with vaccine so quickly. Otherwise, the analytic of that kind of data which is available, and data is available to all of us. The whole universe may have a single data accessibility system. So we have so much of data. Everything is data driven, as our Prime Minister put it across. So based on data driven only, all the measurements will take place. The growth of society, growth of yourself, growth of institution, or growth of anything is data based. Unless you have your good biodata or CV, you are not lifted. So it is data driven. Even to select a product to the our domestic product, we make so much of research, so much of data analytics. We simply will not buy Samsung phone. We will not simply buy. We do a data analytics, not only in terms of the technology used, but also in terms of cosmetics, in terms of cost, in terms of sustainability, durability of the product, how long it will serve, what are the other services you have. So the society is very, very intelligent. And the questions asked by the rural students, you cannot answer. They ask such kind of igniting questions to you. So therefore, we must be very dynamic. Not only inside the classroom, as I said, the teaching environment, it should be a very comprehensive campus. In my opinion, your canteens must be a learning place, your hostels must be a learning place, your library must be a learning place, your corridors must speak. The walls and pillars of each institution like this should speak to the students, and you must make them to understand the language of nature. Nature always speaks to us. Only thing is we miss the language in which it is speaking. If you are able to understand the language of nature, I think you will be the finest engineers of the world. You can be comparable to Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, after whom our university is named after. With these few words, I wish this conference all the best. I think interactions will be very fruitful, and there will be definitely very positive outcomes which are relevant to 21st century graduates. With this, I once again thank the management, the director, principals, and all the professionals from IEEE for calling me, and some of the esteemed colleagues online for calling me to inaugurate this program and share some of my thoughts in professional education. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking address. A dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It's something that does not let you sleep. We are fortunate to have distinguished researcher Dr. Aloknath, the sculptor of human character, a seasoned scholar and navigator of this flagship of knowledge, as today's chief guest. Dr. Aloknath is a corporate vice president of Samsung Electronics and chief technology officer of Samsung R&D Institute India in Bangalore, where he is responsible for Samsung's IoT data platform and advanced service. Dr. Day holds a BTech from IIT Kharagpur, an ME from IISc Bangalore, and PhD from McGill University, Montreal. Dr. Day is considered one of the most influential CTOs of India. He is a recipient of the Alexander Graham Bell Prize in Canada. He has also received IEEE Memorial Awards for distinguished contributions in electronics and communication, IDC Insights Award for innovations in telecommunication, and the Zeno Entrepreneur of the Year Award. He is a senior member of IEEE and a fellow of IEEE and Indian National Academy of Engineering. Dr. Day promotes science and technology linkage through IP creation, startup collaboration, and innovative solution. It's our privilege to have you here, sir. Now I request our chief guest, Dr. Aloknath Day, to address the gathering.
So thank you very much, and wonderful morning. Thanks for organizing and inviting me here this morning, straight to here from Bangalore. Just 3 minutes, so 3 points I want to make. 1, on your achievements, and 2, maybe an ask as chief guest, since I'm here, maybe what you should be doing or could be doing together. So first of all, we heard Dr. Karisiddappa. Do you know how collaborative research from STEM to STEAM and new programs? So great to hear and have these visions to take this forward. We have Dr. Bindu Thomas, Dr. Parameshwari, and Dr. Mohana. They've been organizing this conference. Great way. It's, that we all are here together. And from IEEE Bangalore sections, I know Mr. Puneet Misra for a long time. His physical presence here, and Mr. Bindu Madhav is joining also online. So with that, and a lot of professors, faculties on the dais, off dais, again, it's a great gathering. And I must say that you might have forgotten which day is today, right? It's Sunday morning. With so many people, with your energy and enthusiasm to be here, to learn, to be building something, this means a lot. And we have Dr. Ashutosh Dutta, from good friend from Maryland, joining, Dr. Rocio from Spain, Mr. Pradeep has been there from Bangalore. This is just fantastic. It demonstrates many things. We are talking hybrid kind of this conference. It's being talked about that we should be doing, but here we are doing. It is in the present, it's happening. So cherish the moment. And from US, from Spain, when I hear how many papers are 11 countries joining, 150 papers out of 550, this is a stupendous achievement for a subsection that has started its journey last year. So give a big round of applause for all of you. So that's my first point, and you should leverage this. It's not about an event. It's about a learning platform being together and many people sharing. So if we don't learn, the time passes, and this can be an investment or an expense of your time. So I want to make you cognizant that make it an investment of your time and not just expense. With that, I must say that I'm into many platforms throughout India, and whenever we talk to Karnataka, I've been kind of very privileged to be launching the Innovate Karnataka platform with the ministry there. And do you know, we do Bangalore Technology Symposium, the Elevate 100. Most of the time when you talk to Karnataka government, their request has been don't stay in Bangalore, go out of Bangalore and do something. And here we are again doing something through IEEE. It is a message for all kinds of activities, but today we are talking IEEE and Mysuru subsection taking this charge. And they have also demonstrated, you know, the first event not happening in Mysuru city, but in Hassan. It's just fantastic. This brings a notion of that inclusivity. This inclusivity is not about just a gender or caste and people and college and academia and industry. It's about many things, many dimensions. So keep this momentum of inclusivity. Many a times when the new IIT started, IIM started, we have seen that there is a fear that how do I catch up and do that brand? But it is not like that. You have some negatives because they are ahead, but then Bangalore sections might have been 45 years, but Mysuru subsection can do something very fine, very focused, and some straightforward way of inclusivity on the, you know, how do you take this all the region forward? I think you can set a standard through these kinds of conference and assimilations. So I would love to, again, encourage on my second point that value the developed countries. When I spent Canada, the one thing that we learned is about meritocracy. Any organization, your councils, anything that you make, bring the right people, make them represent, and let them flourish in an empowered way. You know, we can't have that hierarchical structure. So value for meritocracy and involve all the people to take this forward. Then it can be a very role model setting subsection or sections at some point. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The volume doesn't matter. What we do matters. And I think my request would be, Dr. Thomas would be happily taking it. And, you know, the next chairs would take it forward also subsequently in this direction. So that's my second point. And my third point, also when you do this theme, again, there are many topics, AI, IoT, big data, and everything people should learn. Every college, you know, would have these courses, so please have it. But when we try to build, again, let's be little focused. And if we can excel in one through a flagship program on either sustainable technologies. Dr. Karisiddappa was mentioning, you know, if you can save a water drop or an oil, you know, this matters. And this decade would be, we are talking about 5G going into 6G and many different directions. These sustainable technologies in every form, whether it is a chip design to a, you know, the communication devices to networks. Yesterday we did an IEEE workshop from ComSoc. I chair the ComSoc Bangalore chapter. And we did with Nokia, and it is about sustainable technologies, how you can do a liquid-cooled base stations. And people from other countries also joined to make that. So choose a topic which is of interest. And Mysuru has been a smart city, has been one of the top clean cities. So even as a topic of smart city and building it, and towns and clubbing them, with Wi-Fi communication technology, set some agenda that we want to achieve through IEEE, a program, and these conferences then can always have a segment of it to take this forward. So with these three messages, one on your achievement to appreciate, and the two requests on a specific themes of conferences to build a program and to make it inclusive and value meritocracy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was surely a value-added address. Mysuru subsection will take your suggestions. Moving ahead with today's agenda, we are honored by the virtual presence of distinguished guest of honor, Dr. Ashutosh Dutta, IEEE Fellow, Chair ECE, Johns Hopkins University, Maryland, USA. Ashutosh is a distinguished alumnus and obtained BS in Electrical Engineering from NIT Rourkela, MS in Computer Science from New Jersey Institute of Technology, and PhD in Electrical Engineering from Columbia University, New York. Ashutosh is a fellow of IEEE and senior member of ACM. His career, spanning more than 30 years, includes Director of Technology Security and lead member of technical staff at AT&T, CTO of Wireless for Nixon, Senior Scientist and Project Manager in Telcordia Research, Director of the Central Research Facility at Columbia University, Adjunct Faculty at NJIT, and Computer Engineer with Tata Motors. As a technical leader in 5G and security, Ashutosh has been serving as the founding co-chair for the IEEE Future Networks initiative that focuses on 5G standardization, education, publications, test bed and roadmap activities. He is the recipient of the prestigious 2009 IEEE MGA Leadership Award and 2010 IEEE USA Professional Leadership Award. Ashutosh currently serves as member at large for IEEE Communication Society for 2020-22. I request Dr. Ashutosh Dutta to speak a few words.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you can hear me. It's about 2:11 a.m. In Maryland. So, hello everybody, hello IEEE members, students, distinguished guests, organizing committee, administration of Nashville College of Engineering, and my fellow volunteers, Dr. Abhay and Mr. Puneet Mishra. Been working with, in fact, when I was the chair for IEEE Princeton Central Jersey section back in 2008 and 9, we had a sister section agreement with IEEE Bangalore section. So it is kind of homecoming for me. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. But again, very good morning from Johns Hopkins University in Maryland. I'm reaching out to you as a fellow IEEE volunteer, although I started the co-chair for IEEE Future Networks and also a member at large in IEEE Communication Society. And we have been doing a lot of good work with strong leadership from IEEE Bangalore section, and I had the pleasure of working with many of them. I had attended their general body meetings also in the past. So it's a matter of great pleasure and honor for me to be part of this inaugural ceremony of this 3-year flagship annual international conference of IEEE Mysuru subsection, called MysuruCon. So I must congratulate the organizing committee of MysuruCon 2021, sponsored by IEEE Mysuru subsection. I was going through the program briefly. I was really amazed to see the type of papers all around the world is happening, these 2 days, 24 and 25th, at Napkis College of Engineering, Hassan. Although I cannot be present there in person, I feel like I am already there amongst you all. I'm also amazed to see that within a year of its inception, since December 2020, when Mysuru subsection was formed, it's been able to put together such an international conference with papers and talks from all around the world. And even during this COVID time, Dr. Dey said, it's amazing to see such a hybrid conference. I'm hoping other conferences will follow the steps. I need Dr. Susan Land, or Kathy Land, she talked about the IEEE's history. It's been developing the technology through innovation for the advance of the humanity. For more than 135 years, in a very open, unbiased, and neutral manner, right? More than 420,000 professional members. Anybody can contribute. And this international conference is certainly achieving this objective of IEEE. And that has put together an excellent technical program involving people from around the world. I'm very impressed to see the variety of technical program consisting of 7 tracks and divided into 14 sessions with about 150 papers. Invited talks put together by organizing committee and the leadership team. And I must congratulate the executive committee of IEEE Mysuru section, the general chairs, the administration of Napkis College of Engineering, Hassan, for providing this excellent platform where the researchers, students, faculty, industry, regulators from various walks of life around the world can exchange ideas and foster collaboration for advancement of the technology. I was listening to the talk of the chief guest and guest of honor. So, heartening to hear the whole idea of, passing the knowledge, right? And when you walk into a campus and get out, what is the knowledge you get, right? I remember when I teach class at Johns Hopkins, the very first day the students walk in and I ask, what do you want to learn, right? And the last day when they graduate or get the grades out, I can see the beaming faces, right? How much they learned. So this is our responsibility really to see, if you want to make the world better place, how do we educate, right? That's the most important thing. And education and platform like this will help transfer the knowledge from one generation to next generation. So it is a onus on us. It's also onus on the students who are going to be the next generation of this world, right? They're going to carry on the torch from what we are doing to the next generation. So it is absolutely important to have this kind of conference where students come learn, they gather the knowledge. We feel good if we can transfer the knowledge. We also learn from the students at the same time. So this tradition must continue, and I'd like to wish the organizing committee, the participants of all success, and I hope this conference continues to grow over the years. I'm positive this is going to grow more and more, and others will be influenced by the success of this conference and the efforts made by the organizing committee, right? When I got this email from Dr. Paramchari, right, BD, and thank you for inviting me, actually. And finally, I'm wearing my Future Network Initiative co-chair hat. I welcome the attendees to participate in various activities organized by Future Networks. Please visit futurenetworks.IEEE.org. You can really contribute to the evolution of 5G and 6G, Dr. They talked about, right? So there is a way to get involved and contribute to the standards. And there is another important thing, I think Dr. They talked about societal needs. So Future Network Initiative is organizing a conference called IEEE Connecting the Unconnected, the challenge. I know Mr. Puneet Mishra and various members from Bangalore section are involved. This is taking place November 3 and November 4 and 5 in a virtual manner. So please attend that. Folks like Win Cerf, the father of the internet, and they are part of this committee. And you will see, we got about 270 entries from 70 countries. How to, the digital divide, how to barrier that, right? How to take it out and make sure every person on the earth has access to the broadband, access to the internet, right? So that's what this conference is going to be. It's called Connecting the Unconnected. So Dr. Sudhir Dikshit and I are chairing that. So please do visit. So all in all, wish you all the success, and let this be a ground for learning and transferring the knowledge and getting to know each other and networking. With that, thank you again, and thanks for the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Datta. We could hear you very well. Thank you very much for joining us. I know it is midnight for you, but still you are with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the excellent and inspiring address. At 2 a.m. in Maryland, we are honored, sir, by your presence and words.
Thank you.
If you want to shine like a sun, first burn like a sun. We are honored by the virtual presence of guest of honor, Mr. Pradeep P. Mr. Pradeep P is an Indian Administrative Service Officer of 2009 batch. He is presently serving as Commissioner, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. He completed his BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Vidya Vikas Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mysuru. He has served as Project Officer and Additional Collector in Integrated Tribal Development Project, Melghat, Amravati District, and Chief Executive Officer, Jilla Parishad, Nagpur District. He has also served as Collector and District Magistrate of Nandurbar and Ratnagiri districts. He was Secretary to Deputy Chief Minister of Government of Karnataka. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now I request Mr. Pradeep P to speak a few words.
and participants in this conference. I congratulate IEEE Mysore subsection for conducting this international research conference, the IEEE MysuruCon 2021. I'm also proud to say that I belong to the very first batch of the Visheshwara Technological University. And I've studied from EBIT, as already Professor Bindu Thomas ma'am has already said. As you all know, Karnataka has been a pioneer in the technical education in the entire country, and it also stands first in the innovation index in the entire country. If at all we need to cement this position of Karnataka in research and innovation, we need to set right the basic ingredients required for research and innovation. I feel today it's very heartening to see that in this conference, more than 500 scholarly submissions have been made as part of this conference. But these research submissions are an outcome of a quality education system, which I think the basic ingredients are, which actually teaches creative thinking and analysis, then so how to the conceptual, and gives conceptual understanding on every concept. The National Education Policy 2020, which has recently been announced, and I'm proud to say that in the entire country, Karnataka has been the pioneer in implementing the National Education Policy, and that too in the technical education space. The VTO has already started implementation of National Education Policy. The policy lays specific emphasis on research and innovation. And in addition to that, says that the three main ingredients of education, which are the curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. These three need to be set right for the actual research outcome to come about. So it says that the curriculum has to be industry-ready, curriculum has to be there. The pedagogy, which actually gives conceptual understanding and enables students to have a critical thinking approach, and an assessment which actually evaluates the in-depth understanding in a subject. So I feel really happy that this has started, and this will pave the way for a better research environment in the state and in the country. And a conference like this would always place a foundation and act as an enabler for such research and innovation. I request IEEE, in addition to these research initiatives, to make an analysis of whether these basic ingredients or this enabling environment is there in every college. And I also request all the participants to create this enabling environment in every college that they work in. I am really happy to be part of this conference, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And I wish all the best, all the very best for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge leads you to success. We are honored by the virtual presence of distinguished guest of honor, Dr. Rocio Perez. Dr. Rocio Perez is an IEEE senior member. She received MS degree in telecommunication engineering from University of Seville, Spain in 2008. And PhD degree in telecommunication engineering with European mention from University of Jaén, Spain in 2011. Dr. Rocio is a specialist in the area of soft computing, distributed computing systems, and optical technologies. Dr. Rocio is the author of 14 educational publications and 3 books. Dr. Rocio belongs to the research group of signal processing in telecommunication systems of the University of Jaén, and she has over 13 years of research experience in the field of engineering. She is the author of more than 40 research papers. May I request Dr. Rocio to speak a few words?
Good morning, everyone. Researchers, professors, technicians, ladies and gentlemen. Greeting from Jaén in Spain. Hope that you all can hear me okay. So first of all, of course, thank you for calling me and letting me participate in this unique occasion. I'm really very happy to share this time with you all. Thank you. So I would like to share some thoughts with you. Well, being an IEEE senior member myself, and so understanding the important role of IEEE to impulse and support advances in science, technology, and engineering, I'm especially honored and pleased to welcome you all to the first edition of the flagship international conference series of IEEE Mysore subsection, IEEE MysuruCon 2021. So well, as we all know, recent times have been marked by the devastating COVID-19 pandemic situation. But, well, as you know, in times like this one, it is a generalized truth that we can find positive aspects that reinforce of growth as human beings. I think that in this context, I would like to highlight the importance of research in all fields of science, okay, but in particular today of technology and engineering. Because you know that the combined action of these disciplines with other disciplines is making it possible for us to make better prediction of evolution, create and implement complex distribution logistics, quickly provide information through countless and sophisticated communication channels, help in the early diagnosis of so many derived diseases, create intelligent warning systems, and so many other applications that demonstrate every day that advances in engineering are essential to overcome and face challenges and relevant, as though that we are experiencing these days with guarantees at the end. So in some, you know that new developments in engineering research make us grow as society and be ready for the unknown, for the uncertainty. Those in these circumstances that have proven once again that the support and impulse to research in all fields of engineering are critical in our society. It's a pleasure for me to find scientific institutions such as IEEE, an international accredited and awarded entity, which is an example of an entity driving innovative and rigorous scientific progress, which is well prompted through events such as this one, such as IEEE MysuruCon 2021. I'm sure that this conference will allow a select group of international researchers from so many different countries and institutions to debate, to share original research opinions, and so gaining inspiration for future research in the field of electrical, electronics, communication, robotics, and in general, okay, computing systems, okay. But, okay, I think that it will be an undoubtedly good forum for, to reach excellence in scientific research and innovation, and with the main objective of improving knowledge and in cutting-edge engineering fields, and so achieving and making it possible scientific and technological advance at the end. Okay, so from the conviction that a powerful scientific breakthrough can only be achieved through generosity and sacrificed work and search for the truth in cooperation from all current and future also communities. I'm sure that IEEE MysuruCon 2021 will contribute to it with its valuable grain of sand to this cause. So in sum, this IEEE MysuruCon 2021 conference, I truly believe will foster discussion and hopes to inspire participants from a wide array of themes to initiate collaboration across disciplines for the advancement of this engineering field. So, of course, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my warmest good wishes to all connected with IEEE MysuruCon 2021, and to congratulate the organizer from IEEE Mysore subsection and Napit Collins of Engineering. And particularly, I would like to highlight the role of Dr. Parameswar Chari, General Chair of MysuruCon 2021, whose devotion to research, hard work, availability, and managing capacity, I think are of remarkable character that I know from firsthand. So thank you for inviting me. And in general, I must say that I'm impressed by the quality of the organization and the amount of hard work. So congratulations. So that's all for my side. Congratulations once again. Thanks to the organization and participants for the rigor of the work and the so important sacrifice, dedications to science. You all are so necessary today more than ever. So have a great conference time and wish you the best of luck. See you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Ruscio, for enlightening us with your knowledge. Confidence and hard work is the best medicine to be successful. We are pleased to have Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra as a guest of honor for today's event. Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra obtained his MTech from IIT Roorkee in the year 2004. Since 2004, he is with UR Rao Satellite Center, Bangalore. He has rich experience of RF characterization of 45 satellites, 300 antennas. He has played a pivotal role in establishing satellite-level EMC facility. He is also responsible for establishment of Asia's largest subsystem level magnetic measurement facility and world's first and largest compact range with 10-meter quiet zone. He has received IEEE IRSI Young Scientist Award in the year 2012, ISRO Young Scientist Award in the year 2013, ASI ISRO Space Gold Medal in the year 2014, GE Foundation Award for Academic Excellence and Leadership, and IEEE MGE Achievement Award and 6 Best Paper Awards. He has successfully developed indigenous bus bars for high-power satellites and used in multiple spacecraft. Presently, he is serving as Vice Chair IEEE India Council and Chair-elect IEEE Bangalore Chapter. Now I request Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra to address the gathering.
A very good morning to all of you. Dr. Karishdappa, Dr. Aloknath Day, Dr. Anandaram, Dr. M.G. Venkatasmurthy, Dr. Bindu Thomas, Dr. Parmesachari, and Dr. Mohana, dignitaries who has joined online, on the dais and off the dais, students, delegates, authors, invitees, press and media. When I stand here, I feel contented actually. I still remember the day when I took over as a Bangalore section chair. The first thing after AGM I did, I contacted Dr. Bindu Thomas and Dr. Parmesachari that you have to take over as a Mysore area coordinator. And 2 things we have to do. We have to establish Mysore subsection, and then under that Mysore subsection we have to do several activities, because from the beginning it is my firm belief that sitting in Bangalore we can do activities for the benefit of few select individuals, which I never wanted, because the real benefit of IEEE is, because in Bangalore there are several other professional bodies and organizations where students from the Bangalore city can be benefited. But if we really want to reach out, we really want to get the benefit beyond Bangalore, we have to move out of Bangalore. With that intention, I went and nominated these people as a coordinator of Mysore. And these 2 individuals, they are really fantastic. Whatever job you give, they will deliver it. And within 6 months, I think we could submit online petition for the subsection formation. And then yes, because I was having good friendship at headquarter level, so we could get the approval of this subsection within record time of 3 months. And in the November board meeting, IEEE board has approved the Mysore subsection, because I think we never missed anything, and we gave all the details what was required. With that detailed succession plan of the next 5 years of the Mysore subsection, everything was there, so it got it approved. And we ensured that in December itself we are able to launch this Mysore subsection. And for the survival as well as sustainability of the subsection, it is very, very important that they should have activities as well as flagship events which can be really owned by them, and it can be represented. So immediately I gave idea of installing a new flagship conference, MysuruCon 2021. I still remember there was several debate, but I wanted it to be very, very specific and regional conference. That's why the name also we have chosen that MysuruCon should be the name, so that Mysore and that entire region is reflected here. And I asked them, don't do it alone. Please try to involve the colleges which can host it on rotation basis. And I am very happy and thankful to the Hopkins College, because they were gracious enough to accept this proposal, and they did it in the first time. And we got excellent support. And then the rest is history. You are seeing this because when we have come out of Bangalore, I am really happy to see the kind of speakers. We talk about do local things and think global things, but this is really happening in MysuruCon. I think this is for the first time in any IEEE event I am seeing a Vice Chancellor of Visvesvaraya Technology University participating in physical. So this is the success of going regional. I am still very, very happy to see that there are, nobody has talked about that financiers, but you see all the 5 financiers who are financing this conference, they are local industries. It means what vision and mission we have taken to reach local people, local industries, local members. We are somewhat extent, we are very, very successful, because even when we do conferences in Bangalore, are getting 5 sponsors, and that too from the local industry I'm talking. I'm not talking about multinational companies. They are having huge amount of money. For them 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh is nothing. They can simply give it. But even 20,000 coming from a local industry is a big number, and we should really appreciate it. That shows the effort put by this finance committee. So I am really happy with that also. And they are doing really good things. You can see in the first edition itself, getting 550 submissions is not a small feat. There are several conferences organized in IEEE, I am telling you, from last several decades, they are not able to attract 550 submissions. But MysuruCon has done it. That is, it means there is a lot of effort is being put. And when we go local, it creates a kind of energy among local participants, local authors, that it is my own conference. Here I can submit my paper, and then there are chances of selection. But I am very happy that organizing committee have selected they have, in fact, they have done rigorous review process, I should tell that. That's why selection is less than 30%, which is again a benchmark, and IEEE is known for quality. So I think you should continue with this kind of a scrutiny process, so that whenever people say that my paper is published in MysuruCon, it has a value, it is being recognized. So that was the another point I wanted to highlight. With these words, I would like to stop at this point of time. Another thing I wanted to tell, that because this is a local conference, MysuruCon, we are doing locally but thinking globally. That's why this is the reason, starting from IEEE president. In fact, she has promised me that she will be virtually online, but because some board meeting is going on in US, so she could not attend. So she has sent specifically a video message. Dr. Ashutosh Dutta is sitting and joining from USA. You can see Russia is joining from Spain. And when we talk about IEEE, it is a truly global organization. We can see that because of the IEEE bond, these who's who of their respective field, they are there with us, joining us even this odd hour of midnight. Dr. Dutta, if you see the local time there, it may be midnight, 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but he is joining. So we bring this kind of opportunity for students, for researchers, for academicians, as well as for local industry also, to interact, network, learn from them, and share your knowledge. It is all the more important that we should be telling what we are doing. And just to address the request by Dr. Karisdappa regarding sustainability and doing a conference with doctors, I would like to submit to you, sir, that we have already initiated as a Bangalore section. Last year, we call it as a Bangalore Humanitarian Technology Conference. If you see IEEE tagline, it is technology for humanity. We decided that when we are talking about technology from IEEE platform, we should be very, very focused, and we should be doing the things which is directly touching the lives of human being, our society. So with that intention, we have initiated Bangalore Humanitarian Technology Conference. And it is not only doctors. I will tell you that we brought some 5 village sarpanches from various across India, and they told that what are their problems. We deliberated one entire half day on that, and we tried to solve their problem by providing those solutions. And that kind of solutions, that kind of platform we are trying to create, and hopefully Mysore subsection also will be taking that kind of activities. Then coming to Dr. Aloknath Day, that we should be owning one such initiative for Mysore subsection. I also second his idea as a subsection. Definitely, if you are doing about Mysore smart city, that is well and good. if you are not able to do, if you can go and just take one village, and if you try and solve the problems of even one village in a year or in a 2 year or even in 3 years, I think that will be the real criteria for the measurement of the success of MysuruCon. And I hope this legacy Dr. Parmeshachari will take and continue. So don't do trivial things what people are already doing. Please try to do, when the intention is to go local, I want to see the solutions coming from the local educational institute, local R&D institution for the benefit of local people. So please try to solve at least one village problem, and then I will be more than happy, and we will be celebrating that thing in, I hope, next MysuruCon 2022. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for providing information on the formation of IEEE Mysuru subsection, instilling the idea of MysuruCon 2021, having confidence in us, motivating and supporting us throughout. It was a very informative address, sir. Now I would like to introduce Mr. B.S. Bindu Madhava, who was also the guest of honor of today's function. He was supposed to be here, but due to his unavoidable schedule, he could not make up to this function today. Bapu S. Bindu Madhava is Scientist G and Senior Director at Center for Development and Advanced Computing, CDAC, Bangalore. He heads the real-time systems and Internet of Things activities. He has around 29 years of industry and information technology experience. He is a fellow of Institution of Engineers. He is currently serving as the chair IEEE Bangalore section. He is a senior member, immediate past chairman IEEE Computer Society, Bangalore. He has conveyed his best wishes for the for this conference. Thank you, sir. You have to dream before your dreams can come true. Now, I would like to introduce Shri M.R. Anandaram, Chairman, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan. The inspiration and philosophy of Dr. M.S. Ramaya has been the guiding light of his son, Shri M.R. Anandaram, who is the Chairman of Ram's Education Foundation and Yagachi Education and Research Trust. Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan has been established under his leadership into a state-of-the-art technical institution which ensures that its graduate engineers are agile, flexible and skilled in order to thrive in the dynamic external environment. Navkis College of Engineering is a part of the Navkis group of institutions, a trusted provider in quality education across Karnataka. Established in 2000 with Navkis Educational Center in Bangalore, Navkis Group today has grown into 8 different centers of excellence ranging from preschoolers to engineering professionals across its schools and colleges in Karnataka. Shri M.R. Anandaram is also the director at Ramaya Group of Institutions and Hospitals. The renowned Ramaya brand in education and healthcare continues to grow under the leadership and guidance of Mr. Anandaram. I request Shri Anandaram M.R. to address the gathering.
Morning, everyone. It's an honor to host the international conference IEEE MysuruCon 2021 at Navkis College of Engineering. I would like to congratulate the team of organizers of this conference and the faculty of our institution for having set the platform for sharing the knowledge on emerging trends in engineering applications and basic sciences. Personally, I am indeed very delighted to be a part of this conference amidst such stalwarts from all over the world in this area. I am thrilled by the august presence of Dr. Karisithappa, Dr. Aloknath, Mr. Bindu Madhava, Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra, and all the dignitaries who have come over to this function and whose support is very much required for the growth of this institution. I also thank the well-wishers who have wished us from all parts of the world for the success of this conference. I wish all success to this conference and looking forward to have many more such events in the future. One special request to Dr. Aloknath is our request on part of the people around this region that please start a small R&D unit at Naukis so that, see, any support from our side, we are always there. And it's not only for this one, but the whole region will benefit out of it. So I hope you keep this in mind, sir. So once again, I wish the conference all the very best.
Thank you, sir, for your good wishes. It means a lot to all of us. Navkis College of Engineering operates under the able guidance of Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy, sir. You hardly need any introduction, sir. You have made all of us proud by your distinguished work in numerous capacities. Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy is a Director Technical at Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan. Dr. Murthy obtained his bachelor degree in electrical engineering from the University of Mysore, M.Tech in computer technology from IIT Delhi, and PhD in computer science from Anna University, Chennai. He has served in the field of technical education for nearly 5 decades, past principal of Malnad College of Engineering, Hassan. He has been the Dean Member of Executive Committee and Academic Council of the VTU, has been Dean Member of Faculty of Engineering of University of Mysore. He has guided many students for postgraduate and doctoral degrees, has published many research papers and 2 textbooks on computer science. He is the recipient of the Best Principal Award by the Indian Society for Technical Education in the year 2007. May I now request Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy to deliver the presidential remarks.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. IEEE, the name itself gives us energy as teachers. Always we imagined of publishing our papers either directly in IEEE journals or IEEE Explore or IEEE Proceedings or attending conferences like this, and it has come true that we are organizing this IEEE conference, MysuruCon, of course, under the heading MysuruCon, at this institute. So when an offer came, expression of interest came, and my principal talked to me, I immediately talked to our Anandram. I should thank Anandram that he said, yes, go ahead. The reverse way I am coming. Anandram spoke at the last, but still he made a very good, very important request to our Aloknath Day. If possible, that's what I can tell you, if possible, please provide us an opportunity of hosting an R&D center on behalf of you over here. All the infrastructure facility, definitely on behalf of our Anandram, I am assuring you that it will be provided. It will be provided. Dignitaries, on and off the dais, online, offline, I am starting conventionally now. Youngsters, researchers, professors, invitees, principals, and other trustees who are present here. I am really happy that when we invited our dynamic Vice Chancellor to be a part of this one, out of his busy schedule, mainly because if it is Sunday, he has visited us and he has spoke. Yeah, he is an authority. He is an authority on new education policy. He spoke about new education policy. Because of him, Krishnangoskara Arjuna ಗೆಲ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. Karnataka is implementing NEP 20 for the first time in India, mainly because of him, because he is an authority in NEP. He spoke on many things like this, and he spoke on the importance of research, and such conferences mainly give us an opportunity for researchers to know to present what they have done and to motivate youngsters and other researchers to do something similar like this. That's what he has talked about. That's what he has talked about. He was talking about the quality of papers and many other things, many new programs, health management, sports management, and many other things he has done. He has spoken about. So I should thank him for having come here and given a very good presentation of his opinion to this August gathering over here. Next, we have one of the senior vice presidents, Aloknath from Samsung, and he has also spoken about what is that interest in about the number of papers we have received. He has appreciated. Yes, it is really good, getting 550 papers. And the procedure of review, no one has mentioned, it was blind reviewing. In the sense, reviewer will not be knowing whose paper it is, because it will be removed. And 3 reviews will be done. Therefore, the 150 papers we have selected, which will be appearing, the abstract will be appearing in the proceedings. Otherwise, the total content will be there online. And the quality of the papers, I assure you, will be very good. And I should congratulate all those people whose paper have been selected and whose paper are being presented over here. He also spoke about bringing the right people to get right things done. That's what he was speaking about. Then Ashutosh Dutta was there. Yes, look his interest in IEEE. He was there in the morning, 2 a.m., and he was speaking about the importance of research again and the quality of papers. Yes, quality, IEEE means it is quality. IEEE means it is quality because in the consortium, library consortium of VTU, we struggle very much to get the IEEE papers, IEEE journals to this, such quality things because it is costly. With great effort, by adjusting so many things, the Vice Chancellor has allowed us to procure IEEE journals for the benefit of all the students across all the engineering colleges. Ashutosh Dutta talked about connecting the unconnected people also. In the sense, the importance of conducting conferences at such distant places. I think it was, a president of any function has to summarize everything. But our Punit Kumar Mishra summarized everything. He was talking about something beyond Bangalore. Beyond Bangalore. Yes, that's what our Anandram sir has done. He has come beyond Bangalore. Because such big corporate people, education people, health people, they try to develop their empire in places like Bangalore only. But he thought of, yes, we will help rural people also. We go beyond Bangalore, they have come over here. And we should appreciate their efforts. He has very much confidence that this institution grows to a very big level. Of course, Bindu Madhav could not attend to it due to his personal reasons. Before I wind up my president remarks, I should appreciate the efforts of Dr. Bindu Thomas, our Parameshachar, and also the coordinating effort put over by my principal, Dr. Mohana. It looked as if I was speaking somewhat disconnected. Yes, whenever an organizer wants some person not to be speaking much, they make him president. Therefore, a president is not supposed to speak in detail about anything. He has to refer to whatever people have been spoken about. Yes, I am personally very happy to be a part of all younger people over here, and I thank my organizers for having given me a chance to be the president of this function, and for a patient hearing given by all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your informative address. Gratitude is the greatest and purest of all virtues. As a mark of respect, we would like to felicitate our dignitaries for their relentless service. Firstly, I request Sri Anandram MR to felicitate our Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Karisiddappa sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Naukoti Ram to felicitate Dr. Aloknath Day. Mr. Naukoti Ram, trustee of Ram Education Foundation and Legacy Education Research Trust, and also the managing director of Upsync Learning. Thank you, Mr. Naukoti Ram, sir. Now I request Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy to felicitate Sri Anand Ram MR. On behalf of IEEE Mysuru subsection, I request Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra to present Certificate of Appreciation to Sri Anand Ram MR. request Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Kadisiddappa sir to facilitate Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Aloknath De to felicitate Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra. Now I request Dr. Maina A.N. to felicitate Dr. Bindu A. Thomas. Now I request Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy sir to felicitate Dr. Parmeshachari B.D. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Parmeshachari B.D. to felicitate Dr. H.S. Mohana. Difficult roads leads to meaningful destination. This conference is a special event for all of us. The organizing team has put in lot of efforts and passion for the success of the conference. The team success is due to the inspiring leaders. Now it's time to distribute certificates of appreciation. I sincerely request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Karisiddappa, to distribute the certificates of appreciation. Firstly, I would like to call Dr. Maina A.N., Associate Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science Engineering, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan. Mr. Rajesh K.M., Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, GSSS, IETW, Mysore. Mr. Changappa M.R., IEEE, Bangalore. Thank you, everyone.
Now, I would like to introduce Dr. H.S. Mohana, Principal, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan, and Organizing Chair, MysuruCon 2021. Dr. H.S. Mohana completed his BE from AIT Chikmagalur and his ME from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, topping 1991 batch, and PhD from Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belgavi. Dr. Mohana comes with a rich and varied experience as an educator and researcher for over 33 years, having published 2 textbooks and more than 60 papers in national and international conferences and journals in India and abroad. He has 190 plus citations in his credit. Dr. Mohana has chaired several IEEE international conferences and has been recognized as a reviewer for many reputed national and international journals and conferences. Under his leadership and dynamism, Navkis College of Engineering has been scaling newer heights. Let's mark the end of formal function with appreciation and gratitude to all those who made this event happen. I request Dr. H.S. Mohana to propose vote of thanks.
Good morning to you all, respected dignitaries on and off the dais, and also dignitaries online. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. Ano Budra Krutovo Yantu Vishwataha. This is from Rigveda, verse from Rigveda. It says that knowledge, noble thoughts and knowledge come from all the corners of the world. Rightly, IEEE stands for it. And I am honored to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I would like to express my deepfelt thanks to our special guest, Dr. Karisidappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belagavi, Karnataka, for delivering the inaugural address and sharing his ideas with us. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our guest of honor, Dr. Aloknath Dey, Corporate Vice President of Samsung Electronics and CTO Samsung R&D Institute, India, Bengaluru, for gracing the occasion and delivering his enlightened speech despite of his busy schedule. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our guest of honor, Dr. Ashutosh Dutta, who came online, IEEE Fellow, Johns Hopkins University, USA, for accepting our invitation and to be keynote speaker for today's event online. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our guests of honor, Mr. Pradeep P., Commissioner, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Karnataka, for gracing the occasion online. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our guest of honor, Dr. Rosio Perez D. Peredo, University of Spain, for gracing the occasion and delivering the enlightened speech. Thank you, madam. I am deeply grateful to Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra, Honorary Chair, MysuruCon, Vice Chair, Professional Activities, IEEE, India Council, Senior Scientist, ISRO, who has been main motivator and driving force for organizing this event in our college. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to Mr. B.S. Bindu Madhava, Chair, IEEE Bengaluru Section, Scientist and Senior Director, CDAC Bengaluru, who has guided us in conducting this conference in befitting manner. Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to Sri Anandram MR, Chairman, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan, who has always been very supporting and encouraging us to organize event in every manner, in a befitting manner in this institute. Thank you, sir. I sincerely thank our respected Director Technical, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan, Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy, sir, for supporting us and encouraging our team to organize this conference. Thank you, sir. I also extend my sincere gratitude to Srimati Kamala Anandram, Sri Navkoti Ram, MA, and Srimati Yerubandi Sai Geetika, trustees, for their constant support and encouragement. Thank you, sir. I express my gratitude to Dr. Bindu A. Thomas, General Chair, MysuruCon, Chair, IEEE Mysuru Subsection, Chair, IEEE Mysuru Subsection, Professor and Head of the Department, ECE, VVIT, IET Mysuru, for taking initiation to make this event a major success and to happen in our college. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. I present my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Parameshachari, BD, General Chair, MysuruCon, Chair-elect IEEE Mysuru Subsection, Professor and Head TCE, GSSS IETW Mysuru, for his constant support and motivation to make this special event happen. Thank you, sir. I am very much grateful to Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayana, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, IT and BT, Science and Technology, and Skill Development, Government of Karnataka. Mr. Susan K. Land, President, IEEE USA, Professor D.P. Singh, Chairman, University Grants Commission, Ajay Shane, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, for providing messages that have been included in the conference proceedings. Moreover, they have sent their good wishes for us to the success of this event. I am very thankful to all these persons. I am thankful to session chairs now. Dr. K.C. Ravishankar, Professor and Head of the Department, CSE, Government College of Engineering, Muscle Hassan. Dr. C. Gururaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, BMS College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Dr. C.G. Raghavendra, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, MSRT, Bengaluru. Dr. Shivaprakasha K.S., Professor, Department of E&CE, NMAIT, Nitte, Udupi District. Dr. Srikanth P.C., Professor, Department of ECE, Malnad College of Engineering, Hassan. Dr. Shivkumar M., Principal, GSSS IETW, Mysuru. Dr. Santosh KV, Associate Professor, Department of Instrumentation and Control Engineering, Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, Professor, Department of ECE, JSS Science and Technology, University, Mysuru. Dr. Rajendra R. Patil, Professor and Head, Department of ECE, GSSS Institute of Technology. Dr. Shivkumar G, Professor and Head, Department of E&I Engineering, Dean Research, Malnad College of Engineering, Hassan. Dr. Anupama P. Patil, Professor, Department of CSE, Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. Dr. Arvind B.N., Rajiv Institute of Technology, Hassan. Dr. Mallikarjun S. Holi, Principal, UBDTCE, the Engineering, Davanagere. Dr. H.V. Ramakrishna, Professor and Head, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan. I thank you. I thank each and one of them. I express my gratitude to all the reviewers for supporting us in the tedious job of reviewing more than 550 papers with 2 blind reviews and another review, and selecting the papers. In the context of review process of papers, I am indebted to Dr. Parameshachari, GSSS IT Bank, Mysuru, Mr. Deepak H.A. and Mr. Deepak R., Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Navkis College of Engineering, Hassan. Thank you. I am thankful to all our distinguished guests, invitees, press and media persons for being with us. Thank you. I am thankful to all sponsors, gold sponsors, Upswing, Bengaluru, Prakash Panjan Iron Power Private Limited, a ERM Group Company, Heggere Village, Chellakere Taluk, Chitradurga District for gold sponsoring. Silver sponsors, Vishwesvaraya Technological University, Belagavi, Disha Analytical Private Limited, Bengaluru, Bellary Motors, and Aditya Systems and Services, Bengaluru. I am sincerely thank all the authors, co-authors, research scholars for their sincere support and cooperation during the review process. I extend my sincere gratitude to IEEE EXICOM members, members of various committees, student coordinators, office staff, and faculty members who have supported us for organizing this IEEE MysuruCon 2021. I also thank Mr. Vishwanath, Naukis College of Engineering, for his support in organizing the press and media to this IEEE MysuruCon. I would like to mention following names for their significant contribution: Mr. Kirti Kumariam, Mrs. Nagashri R. RN, Mr. Rajesh KM, and Mr. Jai Ganesh BR from GSSIT Mysuru, who have supported us for organizing this conference. Mr. Kishore Kumar Sharma, EXICOM member, IEEE Bengaluru section, for giving wide publicity of IEEE MysuruCon. Mrs. Namrata D. Cruz, Department of ECE, VV, IET Mysuru, extending helping hand. Thank you very much, madam. I also thank Ms. Anaga P. for melodious invocation, seeking the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. Finally, last one, not the least one, I thank Dr. Maina A.N., Assistant Professor, Associate Professor, also Head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Naukis College of Engineering, for Master of Ceremony, and all her team with her. You have done a wonderful job in conducting this event. Thank you. And thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. May I now request all the dignitaries on the dais to occupy the front seats to hear the keynote address of Dr. Ashutosh Dutta on 5G networks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the inaugural function. It's really, I don't feel like this is 3:30 a.m. here in Maryland, but I just don't feel like that. I almost feel I'm there. Anyway, thank you for the invitation. So I know running late, so I will talk about security for 5G networks as part of my talk today. And thank you for the kind invitation. Please let me know if I run a little late. I know I got about 30 minutes. I finished it. So with that, can I proceed? Hello?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is audible, sir.
It is audible.
Okay, so
you can proceed, sir.
So I should proceed, right? Okay. All right. I just like to thank you for inviting me again. It's my pleasure to give this talk. I know we have in the audience, there are many experts. There are also researchers, professors, and there are also students as well. So my talk is going to be a little bit informational, educational, at the same time, a little bit of depth as well. So please forgive me if it is too high level or too deep. So I'll just try to keep it balanced. So with that, my talk today is security for 5G networks. So I work at Johns Hopkins University, Applied Physics Lab. And my current focus is on the 5G and security side. We started looking into 6G as well. So let me go to the next slide. So this is my talk outline. As communication evolves or networking evolves, right, I'll give a little bit of history of cellular evolution. What is 5G, right? Today we are using 4G, we're getting into 5G. We used to have 3G, 2G, and it started with analog communication. And how it started from message switching, circuit switching, then packet switching, and now we are at a critical junction where we are doing a lot of software-defined network function virtualization, and how it is affecting our communication overall around the world, right? So I focus a little bit about 5G, how it is different than previous generations, and then I'll deep dive into security aspects because every time there is a new generation of networks, there are additional security risks, but at the same time, there are opportunities. So it's not like glass is always half empty, glass is also half full. So as engineers and scientists, we have to look into that. And when I design your network, how can you make sure the communication is secure? Nobody can infiltrate our data and all those things, right? So I'll give some security use cases. But then I'll focus a little bit of what's happening in the standards and test bed. So it's not only just learning the theory, you have to put it into practice before it gets deployed, right? So there are many test beds around the world where you can get access, build your own test bed, and then a little bit of the Future Network Initiative where I'm a co-chair and how you can get involved. So that's my talk. So I want maybe some of the slides I'll go through a little quickly. So this is just an evolution, the historical evolution of cellular technology. And if you see on the left-hand side, what I'm showing is for every 10 years, there has been evolution of new generation of cellular network, right? If you look at from 1980, where we had complete analog, and then every 10 years from now, we had 2G, 2.5G in between, and 3G, and now we are using 4G, and people are in the midst of deploying 5G, or at least trial deployment happening. And then people have started talking about 6G. In 2030, there will be 6G most likely be deployed. And if you see on the left-hand side, there were two camps, like the third generation partnership program, which is GSM based, and 3GPP2, which is CDMA based, right? And they have different access characteristics. In 1G, it was based on a specific country, you have specific type of analog communication. But starting 2G, it's been mostly digital communication. And mostly it has been ramping of bandwidth, right? You see few bits per second, kilobits per second, and then, so around 2010, everybody got into LTE, which is 4G, long-term evolution. At the same time, there was WiMAX and IEEE 802.16 and 802.20, and that was happening in IEEE as well. So if you see on the right-hand side, that's kind of a very high-level view of 5G. So what happens is ITU comes up with the requirements for different key performance indicators, right? And then passes it on to the 3GPP, and 3GPP develops the framework to support different types of application like enhanced mobile broadband, ultra reliable low latency communication, massive machine to machine type communication, and it does in a phase-wise manner. So there are basically three different vertex here, and what I'm showing here is different types of application, and depending on whether you have high bandwidth, high or low latency, or IoT type, you can fit it in different parts of the triangle, right? So that's how 5G is going to be different, and I'll go a little bit deep about the 5G characteristics. So this is just to give a historic perspective how the things have evolved, right? There are still many parts of the world where people still have 3G, even 2G, right? There is another aspect we should not forget. This is IEEE conference. So IEEE Wi-Fi 802.11, we are all using today, right? So while 3GPP is doing the cellular evolution, GPRS, 3G, LTE, things like that, there has been a evolution also in 802.11 working group, right? So 802.11B, AG, and now they are working on 802.11BE. So as researchers, we have also some interesting research going on in terms of interoperability, coexistence of Wi-Fi networks and cellular networks. And you all experience that. You go to Starbucks, you move out of Starbucks, you connect to cellular, okay? And get into a hotspot, you connect to Wi-Fi. So there are a lot of interesting research going on there in terms of handing over interoperability. I just wanted to let you know. But today's talk, I'll be focusing mostly on cellular side, which is 3GPP. So with that as a background, so how it's going to affect our life, right? So end of the day, we have to look at how it's going to affect the society, how it's going to change the society. So every time we come up with a new technology, 6G or 7G, we have to see how pervasive it is in our society. And this is an example of, I'm showing how 5G is not only about sending a lot of bandwidth or talking to somebody. It's going to help us every aspects of our life, right? You talk about intelligent transportation system. You talk about e-health, robotics at home, smart grids, water quality, smart wearables, right? So because 5G is not only about bandwidth, it also helps us to achieve low latency and support IoT type devices, right? So those are the important things we need to think about. So it is not only telecom verticals, it is agriculture, it is e-health, it is fast responder community, and so on and so forth, right? So there are many verticals 5G can be useful, okay? So that's just the applicability part. So now, what are the additional dimensions compared to 3G or 4G, for example, right? So I put them in a 4 different category. So we have massive content, which is high bandwidth, right? So 10 gigabit per second to terabit per second. Massive control means ultra low latency type application on the right side. Massive IoT, which is massive sensing. At the same time, you like to make your network reliable, programmable, and flexible. So it's a massive resiliency. And on the left-hand side, I try to put those in different buckets, right? So if you see massive enhanced mobile broadband, what are the type of application you can support? Critical communication, which is ultra low reliable latency, interactive games, emergencies, self-driving vehicles. Massive machine-to-machine type communication, which are e-health, wearables, IoT type. And then if you go down, network operation, how do I make the network reliable, flexible, programmable, resilient to attacks? So those are the things 5G provides. So it is not only over the air or just your cell phone, it is everything else behind that. You have edge cloud, you have code, you have application. Those whole ecosystem is 5G, right? So if I go to the next slide, okay. So this is another illustration of how it is driven by application. So what you are seeing here is one quadrant, you have bandwidth, one axis, another axis, you have latency, then have system control, right? And if you see what I've done here, if you look at the virtual reality in the top right corner, it needs high bandwidth. It also needs low latency, 1 millisecond, right? On the other hand, if you have industrial automation, you do not need that much of bandwidth, but you need low latency. So depending on the type of application, your key performance indicators are different. And then you need to decide, can 4G provide me this? You know, some of the application I'm showing in this quadrant here may be provided through 4G, but there are other applications 4G technology is not enough, right? So in that case, I have to move to 5G. So what I'm trying to say, you have to look at top down, look at the application, where it could be applicable, and decide whether 5G technology needs to be used there, right? So I'm creating a motivation here. Okay, so now that we know very high level why we need 5G, because the applications are emerging to support the emerging application. So now let's get into a little bit more deep about 5G and beyond characteristics. So when I say 5G, it is like end-to-end, right? If you look at the top right diagram here, so you have an end user of different types, massive sensing, massive IoT, ultra low latency application. Then you have all these radio access networks here, and these are getting disaggregated now, calling Open RAN. Then you have S Cloud to support low latency applications. Then this is your core network. And here you have application like IP multimedia subsystem if you want to do voice over IP. You have Wi-Fi networks here. Then you have roaming providers, right? So 5G has been evolving to enhance each aspects of this end-to-end network, right? So let's say starting with your left-hand side, you have new radio, and that provides high bandwidth, ultra low latency. You are having millimeter wave type communication, which gives you high bandwidth, about low range, but you can have a low band, mid band, and high band, depending on which specific communication frequency you're using. You can have short distance or long distance, range, your availability, right? Or how, if you're in a village type, you probably use low band. If you're in a city type environment, in lots of bandwidth, you need to have lots of those cell towers. Massive MIMO, that's an additional feature compared to 4G. Wireless backhaul access internet, that means your fiber, last of fiber can be replaced with millimeter wave type communication. And then converged networks, wired and wireless, right? So that is on the access side. Then if I move to the core, the next I'm moving from left to right. If I move to the core, as I said, we need to make the network programmable and flexible, right? So you have introduction of software-defined networking, network function virtualization, closed loop automation, orchestration. Something happens in the network, there is attack happening, how quickly I detect and mitigate. A mobilized cloud to provide ultra low latency application. Network slicing is a new technology that will give you quality of service from end to end. If you have a fast responder, emergency workers, they need high quality of service compared to other type of entertainment, let's say, right? So they get high quality of service. You have the radio access network getting virtualized or become cloudified. And then service-based architecture, which is more like HTTP-based, API-based communication, microservice-based communication, right? And then your heterogeneous network, microcell, small cells, handover between macrocells, microcells, integration with Wi-Fi, device-to-device centering. So those are some of the characteristics of, I call it enablers, that will help us to provide those type of application, programmability, flexibility, etc., right? So with those, if I try to sum things together, and left-hand side, I am showing the picture from the access network. Then you have a programmable controller, you have an operation. So you have a 5G new radio that provides fiber-like performance. You have network function virtualization and on the core, on the radio access networks. There are cloud resources throughout the network that gives you the ability to scale up, scale down. You have the software-defined networking that makes the network programmable. So you have flexible orchestration, automation of network resources end-to-end, your radio access, your core, your application. And then you have the network slicing that provides you, if you see on the top over here, different types of application, you assign the resources accordingly. Almost like, think about like a highway, right? You have a HOV lane, then you have other lanes. So you provide the resources and dynamically assign the resources to support high bandwidth, high quality of service type application, right? So these are in a very high level. These are the overall enablers that will help you to get the type of service you need, right? If you're in a e-health type service, or if you're fast responder or agriculture or entertainment, right? So you can choose what specific enabler you need, what specific component you need. If you don't need ultra low latency application, you don't have to use Edge Cloud. If you need your network to be flexible, you need SDN, like software defined networking or network function virtualization, right? So with that, let me again bring this back to you because I'm going to overlay security on top of this. So now you understand how a 5G system looks like, right? So you have an end user, different types of application. You have the radio access network. Here you have a centralized unit, distributed unit, your remote radio head, and they're getting disaggregated. You have edge clouds over here, which are again virtualized with hypervisor virtual network function. You have user plane over here where you send the data, the whole microservice-based architecture for the control. And then we have connection to the internet, IP multimedia subsystem, roaming, and then your Wi-Fi network over here because you can move between Wi-Fi and 5G. Then on the top of that, as I said, there are orchestrator, SDN controller. So these are the ones that help you automate and orchestrate on demand, right? So once you know this, now I'm going to go down into security now. How do I make sure my network is secure end-to-end, starting from your endpoint, all these components, my control plane, everything, right? So my talk today will be how to systematically approach and see what are the security problems and how do I solve it, right? And what are the additional security risks that are getting added because of the 5G, right? Because you have new enablers like orchestrator, SDN controller, edge cloud, slicing. So what kind of additional security risks I need to think about? So I'm going to, rest of the slide, I'm going to do that. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. All right. So very high level, what are the key mobile security challenges, right? We all have been worried about hacking, this and that. I used to work for AT&T Chief Security Office. So I used to deal with different types of security challenges, things like malware, right, on your handset or in the server, loss and theft of service, man in the middle attack, right? Somebody can sniff the data as being transmitted, received, like eavesdropping. Exploitation, misconduct, right? Data leakage, somebody can steal the data. And it's been happening all over the world. And then there are attacks on the network resources, like denial of service attack, malicious SMS, attacking the device interface, right? So this is just to give a very, very high level security challenges. And it can happen on the operating system. It can happen on the protocol level. It can happen on the device level. It can happen during the communication. It can happen on the database that is being stored, right? So what we have to do now, I call it threat taxonomy, and I'm going to go and provide a systematic approach how to look at these problems and then how to come up with the solutions, right? That's what is needed. So 5G security, right? So as you saw, you got a little bit idea about how 5G is different, what are different enablers. Now, as I said, it's opportunities, there are challenges as well, right? So when you're adding the new enablers, new network functions, there are cybersecurity risks to 5G, and that could be on the infrastructure, it could be on the application, could be on the end users. On the right-hand side, it also provides some opportunities that you can take advantage of. If you have SDN and a B, it provides resiliency, right? You have orchestration, you can do dynamic service chaining and detect the attack on the fly and protect it, right? So those are some of the opportunities, and I'll go over some of those use cases that you can take advantage of. So let's see. So now I'm bringing this picture back again, and I'm going to do a overlay the types of attacks that can happen, right, in an end-to-end. So I'll give some examples. So the attacks could come from the mobile endpoints. They can do denial of service attack by flooding the network, right? And they may or may not know they have been malware infected. Attacks could happen on the air. Somebody can jam the network interface, right, over the air. If somebody can do physical access to the G node Bs, the access towers, can change the configuration, right? That could happen. We call it backhaul, right? Or now they call it front haul, mid haul, backhaul. So when the data goes from access tower to your somewhere in the back end, that can be, people can sniff it, right? Man in the middle attack. Okay, and now you have this virtualization, like side channel attacks can happen on the hypervisor, on the edge cloud. Attacks could happen from the Wi-Fi networks. It has happened, right? So through Wi-Fi network, people can go and attack my network. There are insider attacks, data modification, data leakage, right? Somebody may have access to root password, things like that. Then you have the orchestrator SDN controller. These are mostly API based, the application programming interface, right? So HTTP, REST API, all those type. So northbound, southbound. So we have to be worried about that. And then attacks can come from the internet side too. So what you're seeing, there may be firewalls, they may not be properly configured, maybe ports are misconfigured. So it can come from there. And then roaming as well, right? Let's say I'm in United States now, I have AT&T, now I move to India, use Airtel, right? So sometime through roaming, or I go to Europe, right? I use Vodafone. So things may come from through the roaming partners as well. So this is a very, very high level view of how to approach a problem, right? You have a network in front, then you try to see where the attacks could come from. Now next step will be, we'll see how we can solve it, right? So that's called taxonomy. So now what I'm showing here is a little bit more methodical approach. Now that I know the different types of points of attacks that can come from, what I did here, like security 101, I put them in different categories. And this case, I'm looking at the radio access network, right? So in the category side, loss of, they call it CIA, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So loss of availability, loss of confidentiality, loss of integrity. So if I'm a hacker, I do the bad things by making the network unavailable, compromise the confidentiality, compromise the integrity. I can make, sure I do bad things, so the operators lose control of the networks, right? And then the malicious insider, theft of service. So if I put them in category, how can I do that, right? I can plot a network interface that I showed, I cross network element. By doing that, I make the network unavailable, right? I can eavesdrop, I can steal the data from the database, like the subscriber database. I can change the traffic, make changes to the traffic, changes to the data modification, like any specific header, for example. Now, so those are the threads. And now here I'm showing, again, this specific to different type of network. In this case, sorry, this was I was supposed to show the RAN, I was showing the port side. So first let's look at the radio access. So that's the same thing, the first category, the thread, and here I'm focusing on the radio access network, which is on the G node B, right? The radio access means this part, right? So the radio access side, I can do denial of service by jamming. I can do UE botnets, right? So these are different ways I can potentially launch the attacks and do all these bad things. Then you got to look at what's the mitigation technique. Yes? Yeah, so for each of those, you figure out what are the mitigation techniques. So this is the radio access network. And then let me go to the core, right? So next step is the middle side, the core networks. So my first two columns still remain same, but the type of attack will be different because you're dealing with different type of network function, different type of protocols. For example, if you're dealing with GPRS, GTP tunnel, or S1 API, NGAP type, different types of protocol, right? So every part of the network, they have different protocols. So what I'm trying to say, if you dissect it and do a granular level analysis, you see what components are being affected when I'm doing this, what protocols are being used. So then I need to figure out what are the potential mitigation techniques to take care of those problems. That's on the core side, right? Then I made it in three different things: radio access, core, and IP multimedia subsystem, which is the voice over LTE or voice over NR. So in this case, again, my first two columns remain same because those are the generic threat category, and your attack description will be different, like telephony denial of service attack, or I'm changing the headers of session initiation protocol. I'm doing spam over internet telephony, right? So because if you're doing voice over IP, that means, I know Reliance Jio, for example, they had this VoLTE, now they're going to over 5G NR. And then for each of those, then I come up with potential mitigation technique. If this is my attack description, how can I protect my network functions? There are many ways to protect this, right? So what I was showing, you open up the network, look at the threat vectors, and then look at each of the component by component and section by section, and look at the protocols and find out what are the threats, and then come up with the mitigation technique, right? So that is a fundamental base approach. Now, as I said, what are the additional enablers that we added? So we saw you have the RAN is getting virtualized, like Cloud RAN, your software-defined networking, you're using open source, network slicing, virtualization, orchestration, AI, predictive. So these are the additional enablers that 5G provides us, right? But now let's look at what are the new challenges it gives us, or at the same time, what are the opportunities it gives us, right? So I will go take a few examples just to give an illustration. But before that, we also need to look at the risk factor, right? Because this is a risk analysis, and NIST has done a great job in that. So when you look at the threats, there is a likelihood, there is an impact, right? So likelihood is a function of vulnerabilities, exposure, threats, and mitigating controls. And impact is how it is going to affect my end user. What is the business criticality? So you come up with the risk factor for each of those type of attacks, and then look at your inventory. Okay, do I have the right security control or not, right? And then you deploy the right security control. So now let me go through, one or two maybe example, lack of time. Here I'm showing an opportunity that we can take advantage of by using SDN control and orchestration. So example I'm giving here, you have an attack happening on the control plane or a data plane. And how can I use a closed loop automation? So I have an analytics to figure out who is attacking, from where the attack is coming, right? And then I have SDN controller. In this case, I'm showing different types of security function. And here I see there is an attack happening. I don't know who is attacking it. Then I dynamically service chain. This is intrusion detection system. This is denial of service detection. And this is intrusion prevention system. So on the fly, I instantiate my IDS, and I see from where it is coming, right? Which is the IP address from which location or device. And then I have the firewalls. I put the firewall rules, and automatically I stop it, dynamically I stop it. So now I'm showing an example advantage of SDN controller orchestration and automation, which is possible due to 5G, and I can stop the attacks, right? So this is an opportunity. But there are problems too, right? So one problem is if I have an SDN controller, there may be attacks on the northbound API or southbound API. An example I'm showing on the right-hand side, an experiment I did while I was in AT&T, we had an SDN controller and we tried to mimic different types of attacks through southbound API. And the whole SDN controller got completely overwhelmed. It was in the research lab, right? So if you look at those, and then what you do, you try to put things in a format like this, right? So you look at the SDN controller in this case. What are the opportunities that you can take advantage of? Like programmability, adaptability, dynamic service chaining. So these are the good things that you can take advantage of. And what are the potential challenges? I have listed, some of those here, like northbound, southbound API, and then look at the potential mitigation technique for each of those challenges. Look at the risk severity and threat likelihood, put them high, low, medium. And that point, you are in a position to look at, do I have the right security control? How much money I should spend? If this is red, that means I have to really spend a lot of money if I don't have the right security control, okay? So that's the SDN controller. So similarly, you look at the Open RAN, and I'll go little fast now. I just want to give an idea that how you approach the problem in a systematic, organized way. So in this case, I'm opening up the whole network, and this is from Open RAN lines, like where they have this mid-haul, backhaul, and front haul. So there are potential security attacks can happen on the interface there. So if I try to do something similar, there are opportunities. If I am doing Open RAN, which is a 5G type technology, programmability, I embed the DDoS detection mitigation technique, dynamic resource scheduling, etc., right? But at the same time, there are security challenges that I need to deal with if I am using Open RAN and potential mitigation techniques, risk severity, and threat likelihood, right? That's with the Open RAN. Now let's go to the mobile edge cloud. So what is the main function of mobile edge cloud? Because I'm doing a lot of processing at the edge, thereby I'm providing ultra low latency application, right? But I still want to make this secure. That means what is happening, a lot of the security contexts are being stored at the edge, right? Because I'm doing fast handover, I don't have to go all the way to the core to do the authentication. It takes time. So I need to still support ultra low latency application, right? So now, if I look at what are the challenges introduced by mobile edge cloud, there are many challenges, but there are also security opportunities here. You have performance optimization, reduce latency, secure fast data uploading, right, during handover. But because you're depending on edge cloud and you're storing a lot of security context, you have cache poisoning, cache overwhelming, subscriber authentication, because you're doing a lot of authentication at the edge. And that gives rise to many of the security challenges. And for each of those, you again come up with a mitigation technique, risk, severity, and threat likelihood, right? That's another way to do it. So next one is the slicing. As I said, slicing means depending on the type of service, you need different type of quality of service, right? Both in the control plane and data plane. So here, emergency medical service, fire, tactical user, police, they need different types of slices. So end-to-end you provide slices. But in this case, there are also challenges too. So I take advantage of slicing by providing proper security context in different slices, but one slice may attack another slice. One end user may be connected to multiple slices. So one slice can do denial of service attack or resource exhaustion, right? And for each of those, again, you come up with mitigation technique, risk, severity, and threat likelihood. And that kind of gives you an idea, how can I, if I'm implementing slicing, I'm taking advantage of it, but how do I take care of the security issues associated with that? And then this is important. This is one of my last use case because I don't have time to go through others. Supply chain security is so important now, right? So now you understand how a 5G network looks like. There are vendors around the world. They're providing components, right? And this is an old chart, by the way. There are other companies who are providing now. But you have to look at the user equipment, the radio access network, core network, the chips, everything. And you have to understand, are they posing any problem? Are there any traps? Can they take my data out? So you need to understand that. And so recently the CSIS Working Group Trust and Security in 5G Networks here in Washington, DC, they have come up with a best current practice as to when you are choosing a specific vendor or implementing in your network, you need to keep in mind some of these criteria, right? Practical governance criteria, business practice, cybersecurity risk mitigation. So I just wanted to know that's an important area too. Now I'll finish up a few more minutes. So now that you understand the 5G network landscape, some of the security issues, how can you take advantage of some of the existing standards, right? So we talked about 3GPP, IEEE 802.11. In future networks, I'll give you a little bit example of that, ETSI. And there are lots of open source, Open Network Foundation, OpenNFB, Open Net Interface, Open Daylight. So these are different open source consortium where you can actually download software and build your own 5G testbed. When I was in AT&T, we did that, and APL did that. So many of you students or research labs, if you like to build your own testbed, this is a good way to really download and build your own testbed and get real hands-on experience. At the same time, there are things like NSF, which is they have built testbed like 4 or 5 different places, like New York City, Salt Lake City, North Carolina State University, recently in Iowa. You can actually take advantage of that. The Linux Foundation, etc. Right? Every country has, like India has DSI. So you can actually get involved with those standards organization as well to take advantage of getting the 5G stuff. So this is an example I was showing. At APL, we built our own open source testbed, but you also have communication with New York City, the millimeter wave. This is a massive MIMO testbed in Salt Lake. This is drone-based communication in North Carolina. This is rural and Coliseum. So what you do by getting involved into some of this testbed, you build your own testbed, but if you really want to do something bigger, you can get access there. So I wanted to show the importance of doing something in the testbed. This is in New York City, for example. We are doing some millimeter wave experiment, and this is in the Salt Lake City. And these are testbed supported by National Science Foundation. You can take advantage of that. just to give you an example, we work with the Department of Homeland Security. And they said, I'm just showing the applicability. I think one of the guest speakers spoke about applicability, theory to practice. Once you understand, you have to see how it can be applied. So over here, I'm showing when Department of Homeland Security, they came and they said, this is a pure active shooter scenario. They said, we were doing a drill and we got high latency, a lot of packets drop, there's a congestion. So can you help us? Can 5G help us? I said, okay, let's look at your pain points. So we looked at it, and this is an example of an active shooter scenario. And we said, well, these are the pain points you had. And then we looked at the 5G technology, and we said, okay, you have 10 seconds streaming video delay. We can use S-Cloud to reduce that to 5 milliseconds. You have congestion. We can use software-defined networking NFV to scale up the network when there is a congestion. You have information overload. We can probably use network slicing. So this is how you approach a problem. Look at the problem, look at the existing technology and map it, right? Then what we did, we actually did a closed loop automation in our lab, where we have the emulation. We started with one call, then 1,000 calls, and how quickly then you get the data analytics. Then you can scale up a network by adding additional resources. And when calls came down, you scale down. So this is the advantage of the closed loop automation orchestration, right? Same thing we did for S-Cloud. It was taking 10-second delay. On the fly, we instantiated some additional user plane function on the S-Cloud, and we brought it down to 5 milliseconds. So that's just two examples of how you can build your test bed, and then you look at the security issues, right? So this is just an advantage. Now, maybe 2 minutes I'll finish. I basically wanted to give you some idea about 5G and security, then importance of test bed, standards, etc. Then this is the IEEE Future Network Initiative when I'm a co-chair, and many of the people from Bangalore section and overall India, they're also members. In fact, if you remember last year, the 5G World Forum was supposed to take place in person in Bangalore, but I thank the Bangalore section members. Puneet was one of the important colleague, and Dr. They were all involved in the 5G World Forum. This time it was supposed to take place in Montreal. This became virtual too. So there are many ways you can get involved. You can education, standards, publication, conference, event, something called we have a roadmap. If you want to, Bangladesh section has done a lot of tutorials as well. In fact, Ravi Kumar, as education, he's our education co-chair as well, right? So you can get involved there. So if you go to Future Networks, IEEE.org, you can take a look. Many ways to get involved. It is open, free. And if you want to download the roadmap documents, we got 15 different technology, and you're welcome to join and contribute. We are working on 2022 right now. As you can see, application services, AI, ML, connecting the unconnected. I'll say a little bit about that. Deployment, edge automation, energy efficiency, massive MIMO, satellite, security, privacy, testbed, etc. So these are the roadmap documents if you want to get involved, the 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, how things are going to look like. So we work with other SDOs, but we contribute from the IEEE side. This is the upcoming event that I was talking about, connecting the unconnected. We have a challenge going on, third, fourth, fifth. I talked about during my initial remark. So please, this is free, by the way, and the first time we are doing it. It's going to be 3-day. Many people from Bangalore section have been involved, Puneet, Sandeep, and others, right? There'll be keynote speakers. WindSurf is one of our industry partner there. And we have chosen about 11 to 12 winners out of 270 applications. So please do that. And these are the working groups. If you want to get involved, depending on your interest, you can send mail to this mailing list. And if you see on the left-hand side, these are the working groups you can want to get involved. So finally, what I wanted to say, the key points for 5G adoption, there are a lot of technical barriers in companies, operators, vendors, they're all working together with the researchers, academics to fix that. So we are working on the technical barriers. These are some of those. Our radio frequency side, the complexity, all the microservice, open source, transition, coexistence, like standalone, non-standalone, etc. There are cultural barriers. I didn't get a chance to talk about it. Our deployment working group is looking into that. There are policy barriers, supply chain issues, vendor interoperability. And people have started looking into spectrum, dynamic spectrum sharing, for example, right? Use of unlicensed band. So these are some of the things people are working on. And now, in summary, what I wanted to say, if you look at the history of evolution of communication, including cellular, it's always the application that drives, right? And so it needs to be adaptable, resilient, flexible to support different types of application because they have different key performance indicators. Now, getting into security, when we overlay the security, there are some opportunities like resiliency, automation, edge detection, etc. But there are challenges. I highlighted some of those, so we need to think about that. So in order to do that, you need a systematic approach. Look at granular level details about components, develop a threat taxonomy, look at the security controls, look at the risk factor, then you implement a best current practice to augment the security controls to mitigate the risk. And finally, things like this conference where we need a platform to collaborate, network, exchange ideas, research ideas, so operators, vendors, regulators, academia, this is very, very essential. And finally, if you really want to deploy and accelerate, you need to have standards participation, test bed, trial deployment. Those are the catalysts for 5G evolution. So this interesting time, if you really want to get involved in the Future Network Initiative anyway, please let me know. You can talk to Puneet and Dr. Day. There are many people in Bangalore section there already involved, right? So with that, I know I ran over, but thank you for listening to me. I'll be happy to answer any question. Lack of time, I can always answer by email. With that, thank you again. And I know we have another keynote talk coming up, so I appreciate your time and listening to me.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing your valuable practical insights on security in 5G networks and SDN NFV. And we can't thank you enough for sparing your time at this point of hour. It's midnight for you, and you've delivered your keynote address to this conference. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Great job.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So I can stop sharing now, right? So let me just do that. All right. Stop sharing. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I took me a while. Okay, please take it over.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I now request Dr. Aloknath Dey, Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, Samsung R&D India, Bangalore, Chair IEEE ComSoc, Bangalore, to take over the dais to deliver the keynote address on technology interplay and immersive services.
So thank you. I think it's very long session, so I'm sure you are tired, and it's lunchtime, right? So I understand your feeling, but I need to do my job, right? So I'll do that. Don't worry. Thank you very much again. Before I start, I wanted to say two things. One, I need to appreciate and IEEE MysuruCon will continue, but this year, Hopkins College has been, hosting it so well. And, Dr. M.G. Venkatesh Murthy very nicely brought out a lot of points. And definitely, Sri Anandaram, Chairman, also made that request. So I need to respond, right? So definitely from Samsung, we have started a lot of different labs and activities, Samsung Digital Academy under that heading. We've done PAN IITs, many of them, initial phases, we did it with IIT Hyderabad, Kharagpur, Jodhpur, we did recently on the VR, Delhi, and many others. However, I also understand this feeling, and it is not just a feeling, but I like to translate. So we took it to the people that wanted to do that way very deeply, not just a a kind of thought, but who wanted to put also their actions. So IEEE DM, the kernel, we initiated 2019 an IoT lab with them. They have initiated, but I got the chance to inaugurate and take it forward certain themes. In Karnataka, Hubli, KLE Hubli has been a very landmark institute, in my opinion, very forward-looking, many different programs. So we have trained the trainer programs there and took it from there. And recently we launched a separate lab dedicated from there. So it requires some effort and a common thread to understand and to start on that journey of internship programs. And we have also launched one program called PRISM. This PRISM already last year we have done 1,500 students coverage across tier 2-3 institutes and cities, not for the IITs. This is not meant for them. And this year already I think 2,000 students are working. Our target is to make 3,000 by the year. This is a 6-month project, 3 students, 1 faculty, 1 mentor from the institutes, very well defined, part of our whole program. Not the critical path work, but very meaningful work in which people work. And I've made it more win-win, meaning that if you deliver such things, sometimes you have to do this work of data collections, other things, but then in return, the good mentors also teach you certain things that you don't get otherwise. So these are programs, and I can take it separately. So I wanted to respond on that. Also, I wanted to say this, we are in Hassan, and so we talked about Mysuru and many other places that we visit. I mean, we are not far away, but definitely here, in my IASC time, first I visited and got this history of Belur, Halibid, and this Haisala dynasty, and the Shravan Velagola has been 87, 88, and since then 2-3 visits that we could make. But I must also say, during this pandemic time, the exercise got restricted and you could not go. And one day I decided that I have to do much more. And so we took some initiative. But one thought came in the morning that how about making a mental Shravana Velagola trip, 800 stairs. So in my house, I started trekking. And since then, mentally, I have done many Shravana Velagola trips to make myself fit. So these are my 2 points, and then on to the topic. Now that I got your attention, I'm sure you'd be able to listen. And I finished sharp at 2, So I just wanted to highlight on technology interplays, because many people are onto different topics. And 5G, since Ashutosh, I know that he would be talking, so I tried to keep some onto the 5G, not so much details about it, but just to give you a flavor so that you can also take such things forward. He's been specialist and he's been working on the security, and this is a very important dimension. But we looked into these 3 things, which he also presented very neatly. We have been working, at least I have been working in Nortel and Hughes and ST Ericsson, and these, each one is a 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, that kind of journey. And recently, some of us have edited a book on 6G, which is Springer. This is world's first 6G book, and we launched it with the ITU's help recently, and you could have a look into that. It's available also. So we are taking this forward. There is a big difference, and I wanted to highlight that one is the throughput and the speed that we talk about. One is this ultra reliable low latency, because then you can do a lot of interactive things. If you are playing games, if you are going into car and automotive kind of applications. And then the IoT, the massive machine type communications. My personal interest is currently on the AI IoT convergence, but this is also part of the 5G. Obviously in 6G, many more devices would be integrated. These we are defining various ways how these machines can be categorized in terms of communications, not just in terms of size. So with that, on the other side, you see not just the 3 dimensions, but you can make like an octagon and make like spectral efficiency. If you are a communication person, with the same bandwidth, can I put more bits per second? Can I do that data rate? That is one kind of goal, right? And then today we are talking much more as machines are getting also added. We are looking into connections density. Connection density, per square kilometer, how many devices I could connect and still handle that workload. This was not in the earlier generation, but this is a feature. And as we go into B5G, 6G, the B5G is 5G advanced, officially they call it, and then we take it into the sustainable technologies, the battery, the energy consumption. These are the things that we are going to be looking for future. Below there is this roadmap, and I just showed some. As Samsung, we have been working quite a lot. My first assignment in 2011 have been 5G research. Around 2014-15, the standards came, but typically this is a 10-year journey, and in that you spend 3-4 years just doing the research, understanding requirements, every company, and then they come forward with some materials in hand and say, can I now make a standard? Because without anything, how can you make a standard? So this is what we did, and then we take into some of this journey. One interesting thing, 2020 Olympics was a very big target. It didn't happen the way because of pandemic that you all know, but in 18 itself, Winter Olympics happened in Korea, and this is where we first time, not with the right form factor, but we tested our devices in the Winter Olympics in the stadium and having a lot of different services. We have some slides for that. And the below, you cannot see it too much, but there is this standard that goes. 3GPP is the standard, Ashutosh also presented, and they call it like release 14, release 15, 16, this is ongoing. Up to 17 is considered 5G. So that's till 22 middle will continue, but from 22 middle to 23 end, the beyond 5G, the 5G advanced is starting to happen. So it's a 18-month sprint roughly with some overlap, and they release something which has some substantially changed components like this. So I think you got some history, and what Ashutosh presented, if you fix it, you would know what this industry is about. Just to give you some, first you build this technology, then you go to standards, but then we also test and try. How do you test? You know, first you have to test whether in big devices does it work. Then you take it and say, okay, I'm walking, is it still keeping my call alive? Not just the high throughput, but call being alive while you are moving itself is a good thing. Then we say, I'm in the cycle, oh, I'm in the car, now I'm passing through the tunnel, now I'm in the train. Does it work? And where does things change? This is how we look into it. So we started with fixed wireless access. This is around 2015-16 time frame in UK, and at home you can have the CP in the window, the customer premise equipment, and these are access units. The lampposts in India, I tell, earlier, in this disaster situation, the lamppost will be down and things. Earlier it didn't matter, it was just the light probably. But now I think communication systems will be down. The lampposts are going to be very critical to connect between backhaul to the city, to the building, to the street, to the home. So these are very, very vital. We need to think of how to design right lampposts which can carry these informations, because in any case you are investing there, so you can use it for this kind of communication. This is again, I would put it back to Mysuru subsections to think about it, because you could do this very nicely. So then the train has many applications. Now you can extrapolate, I don't need to spend time. And you can have lots of things for passenger and lot of things for train operators, those kind of services. We all know what the checker train checker, he could do, she could do, and when you are on board, internet, passenger assistance, entertainment informations, how you could take it forward, right? So these are things, but providing multi-gigabit mobile backhaul solutions. 5G is not just a backhaul, but it can be even front haul, or it can be the last mile or the penultimate mile. So smart city to smart building to smart home, it can have great connections, and even many homes, with lot of bandwidth usage, movie downloads and things like that, you could have connected them and take it as a 5G. And these are the kind of things, but many a times people ask questions, why we needed 5G, or is it a big change, and hesitations. There are many specific benefits on the rural communications, on certain hotspots that you could do, which beyond Wi-Fi that is taking. But even the first time when you did that, this is a very old result, but I wanted to bring that intentionally, because the recent results you can search and get it. 1.4 gigabits per second in Chicago. This was our first US thing beyond Korea. So Korea was first, and we launched in factories to be able to detect any defect online as the parts are getting built. If it is defective, then you can chuck them out, not that the full product happens and then you decide that something is wrong. Because that ultra low latency that we mentioned, that takes care of the communication with the camera to this, and then you can decide that. So we did those kinds of things and launched, and today 50%, more than 50% of data traffic in Korea is 5G already. It's that. And we crossed way back 10 million subscribers. I forgot when, but few months back, already, subscribers in Korea. They have 30 million population, so you can understand that. So this is a kind of journey, and I think in India we are talking, and hopefully this year and next year with the auctions, we should be able to get certain benefits. So this is one kind of technology, and I wanted to, as an interplay, and this is my topic, so we will keep one more such dimensions, because they collectively would give a lot of immersive services. At the end, people like to have the consumer experience and services. This is one dimension. At home, you can have all these digital appliances, and we have a smart things platform that we built where 190 million devices are now connected. And I look into the global, the data platform that I kind of worked and built on the AIoT for Samsung Electronics as my corporate VP responsibility. But also in India, we have many other activities on connectivities, on the app side development, on the cloud, the edge computing. These are things that we are bringing to see it. At the end, the whole goal is, can I have part of home, full of home may take time, but for some specific services, can we have an IoT deployment? Whereby, like interestingly, for example, movie mode. So we have done some kind of macros. So you can define. We know that every time this person goes out or does something, the person does these three things. You want to see a romantic movie, maybe you want to drop down the curtain, you want to turn on the TV, and you want to put some romantic light, whatever, These three things always you are doing. So can I do a macro so that when you say movie mode, these three things happen in sequence. You don't have to actually do it. And in that, theoretical problems are also there, because sometimes it is ordered. You have to do it in one way. Sometimes the order doesn't matter. So there are practical angles the way I'm presenting, but there is a lot of theoretical basis and framework that we build, what works and what doesn't work under what kind of circumstances. Can I look into your data pattern and recommend you that this can be a macro? Or is it a seasonal that it has to change, summer versus winter? These kinds of things, software-defined IoT, these we try to build it. So taking into that, this on one hand I talked about 5G, but then there are other kind of technologies that is there. depending on the power consumptions that you'd like to have, depending on how wide coverage that you'd like to have, depending on what throughput you would like to have, one or the other examples are very useful as a communication technology. And this is something I wanted to highlight from a different angles. This IoT, not just for smart home. I gave some couple of places this example. It always fascinates me. You know, this Australian one company by name Kookaburra, they have built these smart balls. Bats were there already, but these balls have got inside accelerometer, gyrometer, and magnetometer. These are the kind of devices so that you can measure the spin, the directions, and any people, those who are already a great player, they can study the strategy of the other players, the opponent, or you can novice, so you can also map against a good players how they could have played that ball and learn from it. So there is IoT, and this is like in our watch wearables that we build. You have those kinds of components, those kinds of sensors in smartphones. So why not in this? Obviously the ball is going to be expensive, but some international places or certain places where people need to learn, have a coaching session, have another coaching, but in between, these kinds of statistics could be very, very helpful. So there is IoT, but there is also cloud in which AI machine learning algorithm works, and you could fuse to do that. So in general, you know, on one hand, this big ticket item of 5G, on the other hand, these small range communications, these two together with an overlay would give the broader coverage and any kinds of places with the machines, not just human to human, but human machine, and machine to machine communication. Not yet, but in 6G time, I think it will be great. So learn, adapt, basically you sense, you understand, you decide, and you act on this. This is the philosophy. So that's the 5G and AIoT. I wanted to give you two things. I'm almost on the dot, but I will say a few things to wrap it up. Just 3 slides to say the tech-enabled services I already highlighted, but this kinds of 5G connectivity node carrying a gigabit traffic. You can see, you know, you can have an LTE small cell, you have some public Wi-Fi, you have some IoT sensors, let's say 250 of them, carrying 256 kilobits per second. So they are at the kilobits per second level, but when you combine all of those intelligence service, surveillance, the digital signage, the billboards, when you combine all of this, it's becoming the gigabits, and that gigabit traffic we could carry. When you do that, there are many applications. One set of things, this is something that are being worked out in standards, not yet in place formally. This is 5G V2X, where 5G plus IoT is connected. You can have a refresher map, high definition map update. You know, with this low latency, if you are going in a high speed, hopefully our roads will become one day that you can go. And when you go that, then we could also need, we would need this refresher, the map. And India government has now opened up the map, as you know. And I think many startups and other companies have started working onto these directions. So there are other kind of applications of connected traffic light. This is something we did in Samsung, just to give an example. Vision of camera and LiDAR sharing. This is not happening right now, but it may happen again. So we did a truck, and one of the thing is, see, for example, I don't think you can see it. There is a blue car behind, and then there is a red vehicle, and then there's a yellow vehicle in the front. And the blue vehicle cannot see the yellow vehicle because it is obstructed by this big truck, right? Therefore, can I project when he gets into the backside of the, because it has LiDAR and it has sensors, it can project, and the backside, the TV screen or the screen could project to the other vehicle. This may be very useful initially in some turning points and things like that, but I have a feeling by 2030 it might be a good vehicle citizenship, good citizenship of vehicles standard, right? Some countries are talking, but interesting applications. So we have shown already through Samsung some of these trucks. There are many others that are coming in remote driving and other things. So these kinds of applications, this is my last slide, is just to tell you that when you have the technology like 5G and multimedia and then AIoT kind of concepts, there are newer devices coming. You have seen from Samsung itself the foldable, flexible kind of devices. We have done very nice devices that many people are using. Many families are buying in pairs to take one between husband and wife. And the glasses, the foldable, these are kind of a hardware journey that obviously many companies are pursuing, hopefully someday. Then there are real-time interactive games, the esports, many of the young people that are into it. This is becoming a very fascinating journey. Hopefully you all play with a limited time, 30 minutes budget, I would say. But it's fantastic, like it's a game. So esports companies are coming up, and the devices, our devices, we have to make sure on one hand we are talking about power consumptions and sustainable. On the other hand, I need a graphics. I need to have an accelerator to process. So it's a very, as an engineering mind, it's a kind of lot of trade-off that we need to have it. So those are the kind of things. There is ubiquitous healthcare. Today we have done into high resolutions that even that you have an X-ray that you want to transmit to another place in the mobile form, could the doctor see and say, what went wrong, right? This is a kind of fidelity that we are looking for even after the transmission with all the losses that happens. If you lose the main part of it, then it's a problem, right? So that's a kind of journey. A lot of ultra HD for fun and entertainment people are doing. And currently another interesting things, and yesterday we had a IEEE workshops where we talked about these drones and some kind of framework. Even ISC has been working. Professor Vardwaj, he presented. And India government recently, the drone policy is also kind of getting relaxed. One of the important things, there are all these food deliveries and obviously even blood delivery is very, very important. But even in the disaster management kind of things, because unfortunately what happens is when disaster hits, I talked about smart lamp posts, but also I think many of the other infrastructure goes down. And that is the time you actually need telecom to work. You are stranded somewhere, you need services and food and other things. So this is something that we are taking it in a very serious fashion. A lot of people have started working on the mission critical communication. Can I form an ad hoc network quickly with the drones and other things to be able to manage and bring people from that difficult moments? So these are some of these immersive, mission critical, some for fun, some for serious activities that we are planning. We had a limited time, but you gave me 5 more minutes. Actually, I did favor by reducing 10 minutes. But that's fantastic. I think it has been very pleasure for me to be here with you. And you've been patient. And great. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take and utilize a couple of minutes. If you don't have, then you can look into it. These are things that are there in my LinkedIn pages. Many of the postings are regular posters. So feel free to follow and take things up. Any questions, any clarification, comments, anybody? 5 minutes?
Hello. From the Samsung, I don't see any work is being done in the context of integrating IoT with agricultural industry. It's an industry now.
Yes, definitely. And I must admit also, because we are not directly into this field, what we have done in some software with the startups, we also have a startup programs and we invest in them and they do it. So some of these we have done as an in-house project. For example, we have a program, our creative lab, where internally people can suggest any ideas that are not related to the present work. And the winners, we give them free time for 6 months to build things just for their passions and the way we can take it. Some of these came in e-waste management and agriculture. And what we have been able to do, we have worked with the Rajasthan, Jaipur area. And some of these grains that are there, one of the problems is, the grains, maybe quality is good, but somebody is telling them, no, you are worth of this much, and this percentage is broken, and they have no defensive mechanism factually to say, right? Maybe they take it for right. So we did the technology that we have built for other in camera and computer vision. I reuse that technology to give it to these and say, can you find the grain quality? And we followed the government norms to do it. And then we shared this database and this technology outside because we are not there inside as a business trust. But so it's a soft things and we are supporting, but hopefully some time as we progress. Yeah.
Samsung has done a lot of research on power management. So what is your comments on power management on 5G devices?
Yeah, I think we did. So as I said, we do 2-3 levels. One is at the chip level. Samsung also, we are very fortunate to have our own semiconductor, although we take it from many other companies also. That's great. But we have our own semiconductor, and there is low power design that is there, and the even associated power amplifier work. Some part of it is being done in Korea, but certain parts, and we treat it like one team and have R&R. We cannot do everything in India. But we did on the chip level certain low power designs. And then at the device level, a lot of optimization at the system software level, that is done. And at the protocol level, there is newer protocols that are coming, which are called energy aware protocols, which is looking into, because again, the interesting thing is on one hand, we want always on, but on the other hand, we want the power to be saved. So how do you do that, right? If I'm always on, my eyes are open. So how do you blink when, you need to be on? So these are very interesting areas, again, of research of like almost sleeping but not sleeping, and then some level of it, because you then consume very low power. What I mean by that is the power consumption is related to whether you are almost sleeping to this. And at the same time, if you don't wake up quickly, then there is latency and somebody would not like it. The consumer experience is broken. So it is a very interesting work. Your question is also on the power design, but power design can be seen in the RF context, the power amplifier context. That we are not doing in India, but obviously as corporate we are doing it. We are into this chip low power design to devices, system software, to taking it to the protocols, and then contributed in standards. Some are part of the standards and some are proprietary solutions that we could integrate and show as a differentiating solutions vis-a-vis competitions, that I'm much better in power consumptions and I can still do it, right? So work is ongoing.
Sir, so on one side we speak about technology research, and at the same time on the other side, when we see the Indian ecosystem, we have always been late adopters in the technologies when we talk about the generation of the telecoms, right? And also during the course of your presentation, you said that in Korea they have already a well-established 5G network in place which they are leveraging on. So in this context, how much of the policy in a certain country would enable for the technology to be implemented? Because whenever we are doing a research and technology on certain specific domain, there also needs to be implementation so that it can reach to the end users, right? So in that context, what would be your thoughts?
So this journey is long, as we said. It is like people are into globally working on physical layer or RF, and then every layer people are contributing. There was a time in 3G's time, there was this CDMA camp, and also China had a specific solutions, and many countries were having. When it came to 4G and going into 5G, I think since people have got opportunities through IEEE, through HC, through 3GPP to contribute globally, I think there is a convergence. Because when you cannot participate, then you try to do in your own way, because I want to also have my sovereignty and pride factor. But I think, interestingly, a lot of convergence into the 3GPP for 5G. And they have also learned with the suggestions that comes, like even from India, the 5G eyes, and we did a seminar on that. There is this rural communication, and there are certain spectral efficiency-based solutions that are there. That was proposed, and they have been part of it, right, in the journey. So it's a very continuous journey. What I think standard bodies are looking into it, I mean, any country is free to build one, but it's a massive system. And when you are calling 5G, it is no more only 5G. 5G has to work with 4G and with 3G, and some places even 2G network is there. So ability to build a solution standalone in this front is difficult, right? Because of these factors, because it has to work. And when a worldwide brain has gone into it, then it is difficult from that angle. However, I think all countries are participating, and India has come forward, and people are going into standard bodies, and we should increase this number of people joining, contributing, so that in 6G time we can have a great impact from that angle. Policies, I think, it's a market. At the end, government has to give it. You need devices to be there, right? You need the network vendors to be supplying. So as long as you get them, and you have economies of scale, because on one hand, if I say, I want to make it, it's only for 100 million people who will use it. But at the same time, I want a 15,000 rupees device. They just don't go together, right? There is economies. Otherwise, the economic subject will go away, right? So that forces it to fit, and at the same time, the market would look. And people have become mobile. So even if I am here and I travel to some other country, do I need to carry another phone? Then that becomes a challenging thing. Or some other visitors come for a day or two, and they have to take another device to do things and register and KYC, then it's difficult. So I think we need to understand and put right level of pride and contributions and economies and availability into this whole game, then we have a winning solution. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. And
thank you so much, sir, for such your address was very, very interesting, and you made us visualize the future of 5G. We forgot that it was lunchtime. Thank you so much for your presence and address as well, sir. Dr. Shrikant would like to make an announcement regarding IEEE memberships.
So thank you, Dr. Maina, and Dr. Mohan, and the authorities of this institute. So I'd like to announce that 4th and 6th March 2022, from IEEE Photonics Society, India, we are hosting RAP, W-R-A-P. RAP means Workshop on Recent Advances in Photonics. And it was held at IIT Delhi 2013, IIT Guwahati 2019, like that IISc Bangalore 2015. Now it is being held at IIT Bombay, so I think Bombay, between 4th to 6th March. I think for this RAP, it's a very big biennial conference like that. There will be more than 30 keynote speakers around the globe, and some other Nobel laureates may also come, most of them. and it is a very big event. 2022 means 2024 another IIT, anybody can bid, who can do it in IEEE, anybody can bid it. So you please try to participate and put your papers in that one. So that's all actually I wanted to give. And last time in IIT Guwahati we had a overwhelming response. We had around more than 600 papers. Out of 600 papers we have selected around 180 papers, and there were 180 delegates from different parts of the world. They have come and they have given 30 keynote address was there. Okay, so thank you for giving me an opportunity to give this announcement. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Meena.
Thank you, Professor Srikanth. The next virtual keynote address by Mr. Sonil Sobedar will begin at 2:30 p.m. online. A virtual keynote address by Professor Hamid Reza Karimi will begin at 3 p.m. The last virtual keynote address of today's session by Dr. Gabriel Cafarina is at 3:30 p.m. Lunch has been arranged in A block. I kindly request all of you to proceed for lunch. Thank you for your participation in the inauguration function of IEEE MysuruCon. Photo booth is arranged to capture your memories of MysuruCon 2021. I request all the participants to make use of the same. Thank you all once again.